shot because it's a guy that had a lot of surgery, a lot of injury with his knees and stuff like that. But he looked to be ready now to, go. And, that's kind of his time. He's only 29 at the end of the day. And I think he's very skilled. And he impressed me in his last fight. I bet him. He was a decent sized underdog. And now I get that it's kind of scary to bet him as a favorite. But yeah, I personally think the line should be wider.
Yeah, I agree. I'm on Sumadarji as well. I think this is going to be a cakewalk for him, honestly. I think he stops the takedowns, picks them apart on the feet, makes it look easy. I think he's improved time over time. I don't think Mitch is quite there yet. I got minus 160, which is out now. I think this is the perfect line for him. He was minus 200 all week. I think that 160 is a great price right now. Key, what are you thinking here?
Yeah, I agree with y'all for the most part. Mitch looks like Floyd Mayweather on the regionals because he's fighting bums. But then as soon as he steps up in competition, I mean, shit just gets tricky for him. I actually think that he's not using his weapons correctly. I think his translatable skills to the UFC should be his wrestling and focusing on him being a pit bull, but instead he wants to laterally move and find angles and not make shit a dog fight. And I think that he's just outgunned. He's small for the weight class. I don't think that he has great wrestling, and definitely not good control whatsoever. Sue's taking jumps in the grappling. The Charles Johnson fight was a good look in my opinion. And I think that Sue's leg kick volume will add up and be problematic for Raposo here. And the fact that Raposo just does not throw enough volume, even on regionals. I mean, his last regional fight versus Valentin, that should have been a round one KO. And instead, he's cutting angles, trying to look pretty. And I think just ended up in a very prolonged fight that just didn't need to happen that way. I think the Sue is just levels above here. I wouldn't be surprised to see Sue clip him with something nasty coming in. I think that Raposo is going to have a very hard time trying to manage and close distance here. I think that his best bet is just to try and make this absolute dog fight and just nonstop shoot takedowns, but he doesn't have the gas tank for that. So I think this will be an issue for him. Sue for the win is my pick.
Liam, close it out here.
Yeah, I'm kind of two minds on this fight. I definitely understand why people like Sue here this week. I think the thing that I love about him in this matchup is the low kicks. If you look at what really was the ultimate source of frustration for Mitch in his last fight, he got low kicked every which way but loose by Andre Lima. And Sumadarji in his last fight was sensational with his low kicks. That was probably the best aspect of his attack against Charles Johnson. The other thing to note, I think Dravi talked about how much he had success in the grappling. Like, if you had told me he's going to have like 2 or 3 like decent submission attempts on Charles Johnson, I'd have been like, guys, come on. Seriously? Like, wouldn't have expected that. Wouldn't have projected that. So I think that he has made real improvements in that phase of the game. Now, in terms of Mitch Raposo, I honestly think his wrestling and grappling is just okay. It's only going to get guys that are not very good. I don't think he's going to lean on it because I don't think it's going to be there, right? Like Andre Lima, they were talking about he should go get takedowns. I'm like, that probably would have ended really poorly for him if he had tried to do that really hard. I think he would have gotten fatigued. And his game plan, if you listen back to the corner, because I remember I watched that like 2 hours ago or whatever, he was saying in the corner he's going to get tired. Like after round 1, he was like convinced, like because he's moving, making Lima dart around, follow him. He's like, he's going to get tired chasing me. And honestly, I did think Lima got a little bit tired there. Like, I agree that you can make a cleaner case for 30-27 Lima than Mitch winning the fight. Like, I think Mitch obviously lost the fight, but I think he obviously lost rounds 1 and 2. And round 3, he was starting to have a little bit more success. He was starting to get a little more comfortable. When I look at this fight, I think that where he can have success, and what I'm a little bit surprised by, is the KO prop is at 10-1. And I'm going to wait for this to open on domestics, because if you look like that last fight, like the thing that was a problem for Sue was not the grappling. It was the fact that he got knocked the fuck out and then woke back up and he was like, holy shit, I'm in a fight. And he stood back up and started fighting again. But dude, he literally went like, he got hit a couple times and got buzzed bad. Then he literally gets hit, drops to both knees and just stops moving. And the ref is like, move. And he's like, huh? Okay. And just starts getting back up. I was like, all right, God bless him for it, man. He's tough as an old leather boot. But if you watch like what happened in the Matt Schnell fight, the same thing. Like, he's out there, dude. I had him
Dead
inside the
body.
distance there, and it's one of the most gutting bets of all time. Matt Schnell was time traveling 7 times in that fight. He's looking off in the distance. He's fighting guys that aren't there. And meanwhile, we can't get him out of there. And we get tired and we end up in bottom position. It's like, oh my God. And by the way, he took a hellacious beating in that fight. So that's for me the problem. It's like his skills have now caught up, but he's incurred so much damage that I'm like, at 29, these guys are both young. Like, I think they're both like on the right side of their career, but just if I'm worried about one of these guys just having taken a little too much damage, their chin being a little bit spent force, I do worry about it being Sue. Where on the other side, we've seen Lima take pieces of guys. We've seen him go out there and take chunks. And Mitch, I thought, looked fine in that fight in terms of the damage. I just thought that he was a step behind technically. He didn't have the skills to beat him. And in this fight, I don't think he's got the skills to exploit the ground game. I think Sue's made up that gap. But if these guys just bang it out on the feet, I think Sue's boxing is like his one flaw. He's got decent punches, but like his defensive boxing, I don't really think is there. And that for me is where he could be exploitable, but the low kicks are going to be big for him. So no bets for me. I might look for like an ends KO in this fight and maybe Mitch by KO at a big number, that kind of thing.
Not a bad angle, honestly. Ends by
yeah.
KO,
Have you seen what a Sue by sub is?
Wow. Actually, you know what? I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lean into contrarian angles and take Sue by sub at an insane price and Mitch by KO at an insane price, and then hope somebody dies.
Very good angle.
The fight not to go as well.
Yeah, definitely. Anything could happen. We got what's up, Drav?
Most Sue fights are insane violence. Am I wrong? Like almost every fight that he has, like everybody almost dies a few times. So yeah, like, I might sign
even
up for that.
The Johnson fight was a banger too, man.
Dude, he made
tough
Charles
fight.
Johnson have a fight where everybody almost died a few times. That's not common, dude. That is not common.
Yeah, proposal plus 1,000, like you were saying.
Yeah, I also agree with Liam. I don't get why his scale is so big compared to his sub. Like, I get they're just wiki capping it because he's been submitted a couple of times and 6 times, but has he been KO'd before? Oh, that's because of that. That's because Sue is 13-0 to the KO, and he's 1-6 to sub. That's why they're giving him such a big prize. But yeah, I mean,
it's possible. The sub game's getting a lot better, like we saw in the Charles Johnson fight.
And someone mentioned Kyle. He mentioned that he didn't give up against Johnson, and I mean, the door was open. Like, if you want to quit, it's right there. The fight's over, bro. Go home and start again next week. And I mean, bro, he showed that dog in him. Most people are not gonna go back again and trying to submit him after that. So.
No way. All right, we'll move on to this fight here. We got Cedric Dumas versus Michael Olajaychuk. I can pronounce that name and not other ones. I'm Polish. I don't know what to tell you. 19-9, 30 years old, 6 feet tall, 74-inch reach for Olajaychuk. Dumas is 10-2, 29, 6'2", 79-inch reach. Odds on these two gentlemen. Olajaychuk's anywhere from minus 190 to minus 210. Dumas is anywhere from plus 165 to plus 170-ish. Liam, I'm going to have you go first, man. I mean, Michael Olajaychuk is a fighting nerd now. He's always been pretty good. He's just fought anyone he's fought. Do you think Cedric Dumas has a chance of finding a win here, or does Michal look brand new out of that new camp?
I think Michal is a better fighter, in terms of just like who's got more translatable skills right now at this level. But Dumas does offer a few things in this fight. He's a big, long guy. He's shown that he can go out there and put on the world's most boring stinker back take performance type, like hold somebody down in a disgusting manner and just find a way to get the win. Hey, at the end of the day, it's the winning business. And we've seen Michal find lots of ways to lose UFC fights. You can go look through the record. He found plenty of different ways to lose. But ultimately, I felt like I got away with one. I had Kevin Holland by sub in that fight. He did not submit him. Like, we'll take it, right? The coins, it spends the same, but that was bullshit. And if you look back, like, he got dropped in that fight. Nothing was going well there, and everybody was ready to sign his death warrant going into his last fight. And then Kevin comes out there and looks like himself when he's in an optimal weight class and trying his best. Which are things you can't always count on, but he did it on that night. And I think that when you look at this fight, like, Dumas for me is a guy that, clearly made improvements from one fight to another when he got completely out-grappled in his UFC debut and then comes back and shows some improvements against Brundage. But he's the kind of guy that I feel is operating at a very low level in the division. I feel like Michal at his best, super dangerous guy. Most of the guys that beat him, pretty quality guys in their own right. So I just think that this is the kind of fight that's like make or break for his career. Seems like he put in the right work, went to a gym that's having a lot of success. If you had to say where his problems been, it's been in the grappling, working with Caio Barajo, a guy that took him out in the grappling phase of the fight, a guy who's very smart about how he approaches the game. Hey, maybe go out there and do this. Don't do this. We've also seen if he's out there in a bad position, you fall off the top, he's on top of you, he's going to make you pay with a lot of big damaging shots quickly. And I don't think Dumas would like to be on the other end of those, frankly. So I think Michal's going to win the fight, but I think at favorite odds, he's pretty prohibitive. You know, we've seen him lose a million times, a million ways. So I think he wins the fight, but I'm staying off this one.
Key, your boy Dumbass, what do you think?
Is the title run starts this weekend, Key?
Sadly, no.
He's on him.
I think the Michal gets it done here. I think I'm not sure how to feel because Michal being 1-4 in his last 5 is nasty. And it's kind of a similar situation to Sue, where the recent performances make it feel a little uglier to bet than it probably really is, just from a skill perspective. Michal is just downhill nonstop, and I don't think that Dumas can handle that. Dumas, I hit Michal being at Fighting Nerds and actually taking this serious, and is actually seeming to want to put some wins together again in his career is good to see. I have to imagine that he's getting some good grappling looks from guys like Kyle Bahayo while there. So I don't imagine Dumas just for 15 minutes just completely wrestle fucking here. And I think that his margins are pretty thin, whereas Michal's gonna come down, is rolling. I mean, just a rolling ball down a hill. Body punches, volume, power. I mean, he just breaks people. And I think that is live here. So the pick is Michal. We'll see how I play this or how I get around to playing it, but I have interest on the Michal side.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like the boxing of Olajaychuk. I think the work to the body, the uppercuts, things like that. I think on the feet, he's going to give Dumas issues. The wrestling, I'm not as worried about that from Dumas, honestly. Like Liam said, I'm sure he's getting plenty of looks from Barajo in camp. So I don't really see where Dumas would be too much of a challenge if you got that going at you every day. But minus 200 seems like a scarier price. I've been thinking about it for a while. I was almost going to parlay Sumadarji with him, but then that got a little scary, so I stepped away from that. But no, I think the KO prop from Michal is plus 170. I don't hate that here. I think he's going to be the much better boxer. I think he's got much better cardio, much better volume, so I think he can finish him late. Droff, close it out. What do you think? The Fighting Nerd, right?
The only thing I'll add is the level of competition. I mean, if you look the wins they have and the level they've been fighting at, it's not even close. And Dumas in some of these fights, he's barely winning them. Like, it's not like he's washing these low-level guys. And, you know, the fight against Chidi, man, the win is aging pretty well for Michal. Let me tell you that, because Chidi has been killing it recently. So, yeah, I think that Michal should handle business. I think that is Dumas make mistakes in the defense aspect in the boxing, and I think that Michal hit like a truck, especially at this weight class. Remember, that's a guy that used to knock these guys out at 205. So now he's in the right weight class. He's 30 years old, and he needs a win here. He really do. And that's a guy that even was, like you guys said, was training in his garage. Talk about retirement. Was not really, giving it his all. And even then, he goes out there and against Shara, he's outmatched, and he still come out here and he pressure him the entire time, and he's not giving up. So to me, that's a guy that's going to be there for 15 minutes. That's going to try to, get the win and get the knockout. And with what I've seen, he seems to be motivated and new camp and all that. Good training partner. I feel like we're going to see a very good performance from him and probably just getting a knockout. I agree with Peg, though. It's the money line is minus 190, but the KO is a big plus money. So I kind of lean KO over money line personally. But yeah, I think he should handle business here.
Yeah, old Jack check by KO. Too much grappling edge to be this much of a dog.
I mean, are we gonna talk like Dumas wrestling grappling is that good now? Because
That's
I
what I'm
personally,
confused
I
about
mean,
too, John.
I think it's okay. Like he's not bad, but he's not a D1 wrestler now, So
I agree.
He
There
was
is
a
the
regional
narrative.
head kick guy in Florida,
Yeah,
And
I'm a
about
street
the
fighting
fighting
scene and
nerds.
shit.
By the way, guys, the fighting nerds, yeah, it's yes, he's at fighting nerd and that's good, but we're talking about a guy that's used to train in his garage for the last 3 fights, and now he's at a very, very good camp, one of the hottest camp in MMA right now. So you go from training by yourself with your friends in your garage, and now you go into the best camp of an MMA right now. So it's a big, big difference. Not like he was at ATT and now he's at fighting nerds. Yeah, it could be better, but like it's I don't know, man. it really seems like he's taking it seriously. So
yeah, it's less about fighting nerds and more about the fact that he's just in a real camp.
He actually has a real camp and not in his garage. Yeah,
and
I agree.
real training partner like Barao is the 185er and a top guy. So it's good to have guys like that around him to improve his grappling, which always been his weaknesses. So
Is this true? I don't even know if this is true or not.
yeah, he is.
Sadly, that is true.
They're not all good. Like they're not gonna change everybody's life, but I feel like they're gonna watch tapes, they're gonna prepare well, and I think here they're gonna know Dumas gonna try to grapple and be aware of that.
All right. Next fight, we got a battle of CTE and old guys. Julian Erosa versus Darren Damage Elkins. Darren Elkins is 29-11, 40 years old, 5'10 with a 71-inch reach. Julian Erosa, Juicy J, 30-11, 35, 6'1", 74.5-inch reach. Odds on these two guys, you can get Elkin anywhere from plus 270 to plus 300. You can get Julian Erosa anywhere from minus 320 to minus 350. I'm gonna have, who did I just have go last? I had Liam go, right? Drav. I mean, Darren Elkins is as close to brain dead as you can be at this rate. Julian Erosa is still finding slick subs, still looking pretty good. His chin's questionable at times. I mean, I don't really know what to say. It's 36 versus 40 years old. I mean, I think Julian Erosa by sub when Darren Elkins shoots. What do you think?
I mean, it's fucking hard to submit this guy, bro. Let me tell you that.
I know.
It's fucking hard to submit him. You always find a way to escape these submissions. So I don't know about a sub, but yeah, I think Juicy J should handle business and win. But he's a big, big favorite, bro. And I love me some Juicy J, bro, but he's not the type of guy that I like to back as a big favorite. Like, he's normally a guy that you like to back as an underdog and you like to fade when he's a big favorite. I've bet him against Ramos and C-Rod because he was a big underdog and he had advantages in those fights. And, the sub prop against C-Rod was plus 1,000 in a fight that he was a much bigger guy. And now it's like, what it is, plus 400 or something against a guy that, is very, very hard to submit. But he's going to have his chances to submit him, that's for sure. And his front chokes are pretty good. I just have some concerns about Elkins getting takedowns and holding him down a little bit. But yeah, on the feet, I mean, Juicy J should handle business, and the fact that Elkins doesn't have much power should help him because Erosa's chin is not good. We know that, but it's not like Elkins hit hard. So I think it's a good matchup for him. He's also the bigger guy. He's the much younger guy. So yeah, but do I want to pay a big price tag like that on him? No. If anything, you just go under. It's under 2.5. Elkins 40 years old at the end of the day. He could get catching a sub. He could get knocked out, and Erosa is always live to get bumped. So if anything, you go under, and if it goes over, it's just going to be a fun fight that have a lot of opportunity to finish. So I'll lean under if anything, but yeah, I'm going to pick Erosa to win. I'm not in love with the price, that's for sure.
Definitely not. Liam, what do you think about the sub?
For Rosa, I don't like it here. If I've learned one thing about Darren Elkins, he's a pretty damn hard guy to submit, all things considered. I think it's actually much more likely that Julian Erosa just flatline KOs him in the first round than him submitting him. Honestly, I don't think it's impossible, right? Like I'd never say something 0%. It's mixed martial arts. It's the dumbest sport you've ever seen. Could he pace him? I think that's very possible. We've seen Julian Erosa get dropped by Woodson and then just stand back up and finish him because he had more energy. You know, like he's kind of that guy. He's got an Energizer Bunny mentality. And if you don't kill Erosa, he starts to build on you, right? He's the kind of guy that like he is like a chin liability himself. That's why you don't want to bet on him as a huge favorite, in my opinion. Just in general, I don't think Elkins is the guy to chin check him. I think that's why you're seeing him in a rare position as a massive favorite. But we've seen him make it closer than it should be against other guys when he's a big favorite before. You know, I think maybe Julian Erosa feels more comfortable when people are doubting him, when there's no pressure. When there's pressure on some guys, you know, they fight a little different. It's a different experience. And he's now on a big pay-per-view card as well, right? We're not in the Apex. It's not a little, you know, hey, whatever happens, happens. It's like, hey, this is a big crowd. The moment you're going to feel it. And Darren Elkins, he's just steady Eddie, man. Like, if you don't kill him, he's going to keep doing the things that he knows how to do. Grab a hold of the leg, try and take him down, try and punch him ahead. He's just going to try and make it a dogfight with you. So ultimately, I could see why people would, you know, feel one way or the other on this fight. I don't feel very strongly here. You know, I feel strongly that Erosa is not the kind of guy I want at minus 400, but I also feel like, do I feel good about Darren Elkins here? No, I think he's probably going to get splattered. I think it's more like the Cub Swanson fight than a lot of other fights that he's had lately, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, I agree. Honestly, I'd rather not pick a side on this fight. I think it's pretty ugly. I like the under. Under seems fair. Both have sub upside. Both kind of have KO upside. I mean, I'll take it. I mean, under seems pretty fair to me, especially 2 40-year-old guys. Seems very volatile. Under seems fair. I guess I got to pick a side, obviously going with Juicy J. Key, what are you thinking?
Yeah, Erosa by KO. I don't see the front chokes working on Darren Elkins here. It feels like he's sub-proof. So I think Erosa ends up starching him here. This shit has to catch up to Elkins eventually. I know he's weaseled out against some gassy guys. Pause. That's a crazy sentence. But I know that he's weaseled out against some guys who don't have the greatest cardio. But I think that here Erosa is going to be able to match pace, volume, as long as Erosa isn't sitting here trying to go for every front choke available and keeps distance. I think that this is absolute ass whooping at range. I mean, speed difference is crazy. I know Erosa's a glass cannon himself, but Elkins has nothing for him on the feet in that range. I think Erosa does whatever he wants to, but I'm not parlaying Erosa at minus 360 against anybody on earth. So it's a pass. I think that you can get tricky in some prop ways, though.
That's fair. Erosa seems fair. Common Liam W, of course. D Nige's been fed dogs. Who did Wisson go against? Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. That's a big differential in strength of competition. But next fight, we got Junkyard Dog Jim Miller versus Chase Hooper. Jim Miller's 38-18. He's 41, 5'8", 71-inch reach. Chase Hooper, 15, 3-1, 25, 6'1", 74-inch reach. Odds on these two gentlemen, you can get Chase Hooper anywhere from minus 900 to minus 1,000. You can get Jim Miller anywhere from plus 600 to plus 550. I'll go first here, just because Jim Miller is my boy. Love Jim Miller. Been watching him forever. He's a Jersey guy back in the day. I mean, what's the age differential here? 16 years. So it's kind of a crazy age differential. Jim Miller can crack. I think he could definitely hurt Chase Hooper. I think he could give Chase issues early, but as Chase starts to grapple, put it on, do volume, stuff like that, Jim has started to get tired in his later days and age. So I think Chase Hooper takes over late. Overs seem fair to me. I'm not sure if I see Chase finishing Jim Miller. We know how durable he is. I hope it's not this guy says the Miller retirement fight. I really hope not. But anything's possible. He's 41. I think he retires in the Newark card, honestly. If he doesn't take too much damage here, probably goes to Newark and retires there. But yeah, I don't know. Chase Hooper is the new up-and-coming guy, different career trajectory. Seems pretty fair. I think Chase Hooper wins a decision here. Liam, what are you thinking for this one? Chase Hooper minus 1,000 value bet.
I mean, God, no, it's not a value bet. One thing I will say is one of the most surprised I've ever been in a fight. And now looking back in hindsight, it makes obvious sense. But when Chase Hooper got knocked out by Steve Garcia, I did not see it coming at all. I was like, Chase Hooper is going to take this guy down and absolutely embarrass him in the grappling. And it's just because I've been a Chase Hooper believer for a long time. I think that he's a very, very good grappler. I think he's a guy that gets underrated because you look at him and he looks like the kind of guy you could beat up. If you're just like an average fan, you're like, oh, come on, I'd beat this guy. I mean, he looks like a nerd. But skills are skills, right? And skills pay the bills. At the end of the day, the reason he's beaten a lot of the guys he's beaten in the UFC is because he's a better black belt than black belts he's gone against. He's a better grappler than guys that go out there to grapple guys. Like, he's just done a very good job with the fights he's been given. Has he been match made accordingly? Yeah, he got here very young. He took a lot of damage early. They were like, all right, let's pump the brakes. Let's get him some grapplers. Let's get him some older guys, some guys that are going to give him some run and scramble with him. But ultimately, that he's better than. And I remember, revisionist history is real in MMA. Everybody told me beforehand, Slava's going to whoop his ass. He's going to kill him. There's not going to be a competitive fight. And then when Chase knocks him down, Slava sucks. We all knew that. Like, it's like, okay, we have to eventually say, like, is it credit for the win or not? Because he keeps going out there. He's plus money in a lot of these fights. I bet him a lot of times at plus money in the UFC. He keeps coming up bases in a lot of these. So I think when you look at it, now at minus 1,000, it's like the time has gone, right? This is the time Tatsuro Taira was minus 1,000 against, what's his name? Chires, right? That's a good fighter. That's a tough matchup. That's on a couple days' notice when you had a weigh-in last week. It's like eventually the value gets extracted, but there was a lot of value on Chase. He is a very good fighter. I think Jim has some upside to come out here and kill him early. But I think after 6 minutes, we know that Jim Miller's cardio is going to start to, maybe fall off a cliff. And here's the problem. Chase keeps an insane pace. Like, the reason he beats up on guys as well, if you've ever seen him on the ground, it's not a jiu-jitsu match. He beats the shit out of people, right? And I think that's the part of his game that gets missed. Is he does damage, he hurts you, he will fuck you up, and he will make you pay for being underneath for a long time. So I think that he might get taken down. He might get hurt in this first round, but if he does not get finished, I think Chase Hooper's pace is too much. I think he's going to find a way to beat Jim Miller on his pace cardio and probably do it in rounds 2 and 3.
All right, 2-3 for you.
I have a question for you. What do you think about Chase KO2, KO3? The odds only out on BetOnline, so we can assume that it's going to be better on commercial, but it's 14-1 and 20-1 right now. KO2, KO3.
I don't hate those. The one thing I will say is I think speed is really important when it comes to grappling. And I think that's, again, something that gets missed with Chase a lot is his speed in the transitions is fast. And I told people, I was like, bet the KO against Felipe Colares because that dude's hard to sub and he is tough as an old leather boot, rest his soul. But when you look at the fight with Jordan Levitt, I was like, take the sub because I was like, he's going to be 10 steps ahead of this guy in every scramble, every transition. He's too fast. And I think that when you look at, the Ogden fight, that was another example of him getting caught in those positions. You look at Jim Miller, I think that he's got that kind of dynamism, again, in the early portions. But down the stretch, if Chase is on top of him, a guy who's very difficult to submit and is a tough guy and is a gamer, I don't think he's going to just go out sad, taking shots on the guard. I think he'll probably try and do the admirable thing, the warrior thing, unlike, no disrespect, but unlike Joe Anderson Brito, who basically said, I'm losing this fucking fight. Like, it is what it is. I'm going to stay here on my back and fucking accept my fate. He's probably going to try and get up his back to stand. I know for people that had Sabatini, hats off, but I had to fight not to go. I was like, brother, go out on your shield like a warrior. But in any case, when you just look at this, like, I think Jim is the kind of guy that maybe he'll just hang on and maybe just try and hold, but I don't think Chase will let him. I think he'll be punching, moving, trying to keep him going. And if he stands, if he tries to turn his back, get some reprieve, I think he's going to get subbed. So that's the only danger, I think, with that KO prop is like, I think round 2 and 3 is more realistic in that I think he can just finish this guy however based on pace, Yeah,
definitely. Key, what are you thinking here? I mean, what's there to say?
Yeah, to agree with everything that everybody said. I think Hooper gets it done inside the distance. I think his pace on the mat is pretty crazy and ground and pound is elite. So I think there's some tricky ways to play it. But as of right now, I haven't gotten down on anything. But Chase Hooper inside the distance is a pick.
Draw off anything different here?
Yeah, not really, because this sub is pick'em, so I can play that. That's why I was trying to be KO. But round 2, 3 for Hooper is good because I don't think he's gonna finish him in round 1 when Miller's fresh. So round 2, 3, like Liam said, but KO 2-3 is big prices compared to the sub. That's why I was thinking if he gets tired, and maybe because Oprah ground and pound is legit, man, very good. So, but yeah, he should submit him in round 2-3. So
I think Anin Kawahe is the guy I'm thinking of. Dude, he beat the piss out of that guy. Bad.
Yeah. Next fight, right? Verna Generoba versus Xian Yan. Yan is 19-4, 35-5-5 with a 63-inch reach. Verna Jandaroba is 21-3. She's 36-5-3, 64-inch reach. Odds in these two ladies, they are Yan is anywhere from plus 125, plus 120 to plus 125. Verna is anywhere from minus 145 to minus 150. It's a girls' fight. Key, the best in WMMA. I mean, Verna by takedowns and sub, big levels on the ground, or, I mean, Yan pieces are up on the feet. The big cage favors just Yan striking. How do you think this goes?
Yeah, this is a tricky fight. I backed Yan at minus 190 versus Ricci, and she pitched a shutout. And I think that here it's just so much of a different dynamic because Jandaroba is just constantly hanging on you. It's not that she's some great wrestler, but she's able to get it to the mat. And once she does, even if she ends up pulling guard or ends up in a leg lock sequence, she's able to sweep her way and end up getting on top. And while Yan Shanan's, I believe, like her regular wrestling double leg, single leg takedown defense has gotten better, especially for her first layer takedown defense in general has gotten better. On the mat, I think that she still has a lot of issues. I mean, people forget, but Zhang Wei Li won by sub in that fight.
Yeah.
Round one, I mean, Yan Xiaonan was out. I mean,
wait, and by KO in round 2.
yeah, like I mean, Wei Li did everything she could do to her. So I think that people forget that, and Yan just not fighting the hands. I mean, there were a lot of red flags going on there. I think that here, Verna is just such a high level grappler. I think it only takes one, not even necessarily a takedown, but just one grappling sequence that leads to Verna ending up on top. Because Yan just doesn't know what she's doing. I mean, I know that the clip of her damn near arm barring herself in the Esparza fight is a historical women's MMA moment. But I think that here, I don't think that she's going to be able to dance around for 15 minutes. I think the margins are pretty thin. I can understand getting to Verna at these prices. I can wider. I could understand Yan potentially, but like I said, margins are just very thin. And what is she going to do? Knock her out? I mean. I find that very hard to believe that she ends up knocking her out. I think there would be a clear Yan Shannon win would look like her hurting Verna very early, and having big time moments that ends up leading to her winning rounds early. But I think the Verna's just honestly a matchup nightmare. Is it a nightmare for a lot of girls in this division? I mean, it sucks that she's 37 and already we can get into her vision and eye situation, but I think the Verna is probably the side here. Better grappler. 15 minutes. I know it's a big cage, but I don't think the Yan can dance her way to victory here.
No, I agree with you. I took Verna minus 146, I think the exact price. I think it's a fair fight. Striker versus grappler. Levels on the ground, way different. We saw that with Barbosa and Belbita last week. I mean, it's not that big of a difference, but still pretty big on the ground. I think if Verna gets it down, she could probably find a sub here. Verna's fine for me. I think she out grapples her for pretty long. No issues there. Liam, what do you think?
I like Verna here as well. Last time out, I just thought Ricci like shit the bed in terms of like game planning for that fight. She has 2+ takedowns against 5 of her UFC opponents. Yan Shannon's been taken down twice or more by 5 UFC opponents, and then she attempts 2 takedowns in 15 minutes. I mean, you should just fire your coaches or just never fight again. Like, I don't understand how that was the game plan we come out with, right? And you could say it was the footwork and the damage she was taking, but ultimately, like, I'd rather you fail a takedown from 10 feet away and show me that you're committed to the game plan. If y'all saw that guy in Octagon, he would rather go head first through the cage than give up on that takedown. That's the level of commitment we're looking for from our grapplers. And I think that when you look at Verna Jandiroba, it's just like, number one, you make one mistake and the fight could be over. Number two, you look at the physical girls that she's gone against. Even Lupi Godinez, right? was able to put her in some awkward situations. And, Loopy, who's typically kind of hard to get into those static positions, she didn't know what to do. She didn't know how to get out of them. And I think that Yan Xiaonan, I bet her against Mackenzie Dern. You give me big enough plus money, I'll take a risk. I'll take a chance. Columbus did. But when you look at where we're at in this fight, I think, number one, her perception's at a pretty all-time high. Goes out there, beats up Ricci, pretty big spot. Had the title fight, made it through. You had some competitive minutes there. I think that when it comes down to it, for me, Verna is like the unheralded woman in this division. I thought she was going to go out there and embarrass Amanda Lemos, and that's ultimately what we saw. And I think she's probably going to do something similar here. I do credit, the one thing I'll say is Yan Xiaonan, rare power for this division. Her ability to connect, even moving backwards, I thought was pretty impressive against Jessica Andrade. She was like 11-1 or something on the knockout, was moving backwards, caught her with those hooks. But we've kind of seen those fighters make those mistakes, not have the ability to mix up their game and know where they win fights. And I tweeted a long time ago, the only women to ever beat Verna Jandiroba are as good or better at wrestling and grappling, and Yan Xiaonan is not that. So give me Verna.
All right, Drav, close it out.
Yeah, so
you gave Verna as a free pick, so we kind of already know where you are.
Yeah, I play her pretty big. It's my biggest position in the week so far, and I think there's got just a lot of good reasons to play her. And to Liam's point about the Ricci fight, there's no way Verna's gonna try to test her striking here. She knows the game plan. She's gonna try to grapple, and these type of fighter I like to bet on. Pat Sabatini, same shit. He's not gonna try to strike and test his chin or something. He's gonna grapple this guy. So here I look into this matchup and I'm like, okay, so she needs one takedown to either finish the fight or win the round. And she doesn't even need 3 takedowns, because personally, I don't think Yan finishing her is likely. Maybe you go 10%, because again, she's good footwork and some power, but she only has one, I think, UFC knockout. So it's not like she's a sniper. She could knock her out, but I think it's maybe 10%. But the chances that Verna submit her and make her look like a child on the mat is very, very high. So, and I feel pretty good about her getting her down, because Verna's getting everybody down. Like you said, how she does it, pulling a leg lock, pulling guard, jumping on her. Her wrestling's not bad. And then also a thing that people don't really realize when you look at her, she's pretty strong. Amanda Lemos, very strong girl. She owned her. She didn't know what to do. She couldn't get back up. She couldn't do anything. I get that Lemos did try to grapple with him, but still, Lemos is very strong. And I think much stronger than Yan. And Verna just, fucked her up, and she couldn't do anything about it. And Yan her takedown defense has improved, but I mean, on the ground, the level here is just gigantic. It's just gigantic. Verna is one of the best grappler, if not the best BJJ girl in the entire division. And Yan is a blue belt on the mat. So, and like you said, she got submitted in the first round against Weili Zhang. Weili Zhang is an amazing fighter, but she's not really a big submission threat. That's not really her game. If Verna get to the back, she's going to choke her out. No doubt in my mind. And she has a lot of different submissions. It's not like she's only guillotine or boss or something like that. She has rear naked choke. She has arm bar. She can go for a leg lock. And she's also very good at reversing and creating scrambles. So I feel like at some point she's going to close the distance and get a takedown. And when she does, that's either going to be the round or the fight. Basically, I see it. And to me, she only needs 2 takedowns here to win the fight. And she's proved me, if you look into her career, that she can do that against pretty much anyone. And Yan has shown me that she's getting taken down by a lot of girls that are not really good wrestlers, like Mackenzie Dern taking you down and grappling you. Verna wrestling is better than Dern, in my opinion, and her grappling is maybe more dangerous. So, yeah, I think Verna's going to get on top at some point and submit her. If the fight's on the feet, I'm not going to like that. That's a big cage that does favor Yan, and her footwork is very good. But I feel it's only going to be a matter of time till the fight is on the ground. And to me, the floor is lava here. Yan can go to the ground with Verna, and Verna could not compete because she's going to get outstrike bad on the feet. But it's not like she's going to get knocked out right away if the fight stay on the feet. She's going to get outstrike. But to me, most of the finishing upside is on the Verna side, and I also favor her to win a decision based on the grappling dynamic. So, yeah, Verna should be a bigger favorite. I think that 70% makes sense based on the grappling difference in the finishing upside. And yeah, we're gonna get Verna versus Willie Zhang maybe.
Yeah. All right. This is a good question. Key, which one? No comment.
Yeah, I'll kill
I
myself.
think Jan, pretty easy answer, but hey, whatever. Zhang won by sub, KO, and decision all in the same fight.
Yeah.
Yep. That's fair. Jan is the best. Yep.
Yeah, she looked good in that fight in the striking, but Willie made her look like a child on the mat too. So it's like, yeah, she looked good on the feet, but I don't know. On the ground, it's just a different game.
I knew the question made Key squirm. That's why.
And it's a binary fight, guys. At the end of the day.
Whoa. We're a different breed. I agree.
Imagine a fight, Verna versus Rosas Jr. Who's gonna win? Liam, I want your answer. You're the BJJ specialist. Verna versus Rosas. They fight tomorrow. Who's gonna win?
I have no comment. That's a strategic ambiguity, right?
That is funny. All right. This is the prelims main event right here. It is Dan Ige versus Sean Woodson. Dan 50K Ige, he's 18-9. He's 33-5'7" with a 71-inch reach. Sean Woodson is 13-1-1. He's 32-6'2" with a 78-inch reach. Probably the tallest featherweight on the roster. Odds for these two gentlemen. Ige is anywhere from plus 145 to plus 150. Sean Woodson's anywhere from minus 170 to minus 180. Another fight that everyone's arguing about on Twitter. I think Ige seems pretty popular. Who's going first? Is it Drav or Liam? I think it's Drav. Drav, Dan Ige by knockout against Woodson, right? Woodson can't keep getting away with this.
I think that Dan Ige is gonna put his nickname into the I don't know how to say it, but he's gonna use his nickname to win this fight. He's gonna get that 50K.
All right.
Yeah, I think he's gonna knock him out. But with that being said, could he win a decision? I think so, and I think that's something that people might not agree with me. To me, looking into this fight, I think they're gonna strike. I think they're gonna strike. Like I could see Dan Ige maybe mixing the takedowns, but I personally see this one being on the feet for the most part. And you're gonna have two things. You're gonna have Ige pressuring, trying to make the fight into the pocket and use his boxing in close range. And you're gonna have Woodson, who's much taller, much longer, the better minute winner. That's gonna try to use his jab and his knees. Ige trying to close the distance and outpoint him. But to me, it's a clear fight. Like Woodson's going to be the minute winner and Ige is going to be the moments winner. So could Ige win a round based on big moments? Yeah, you could. And could Woodson win a decision based on, landing more shot and doing more? Yeah, for sure. But could Woodson finish Ige? I don't think so. He's more of a decision machine. So is Woodson going to blow out Ige and win 30-27? I don't think so. He's not done that versus pretty much anybody that he's fought. So now he's taking a step up against a guy that hit like a fucking truck. And I've seen Woodson put down on his ass and, he's been knocked out against fucking, what's his name, Saldana. I don't care what people are saying. He got put on his ass and the guy trying to celebrate and he leave him off the hook. Like he got dropped 2 times in round 1 and he got hit with a clean left hook. You don't want to get hit clean by a left hook of Dan Ige. Let me tell you that. He hit like a truck, and here Dan Ige normally when he's taking a step down in competition and not fighting these top 10 guys, he normally does pretty well. He normally handle business and show where he's at. So now you have Woodson here who's going to be fighting probably the hardest puncher that he's fought so far in the UFC. And I've seen this guy put down. I've seen it, and I've seen him in fight that he made closer than he should have been. I think that against Jordan, it was a split decision. I think he could have won. He could have won like easily, more easy in that fight, and he didn't. That fight was close. So, and I think also the visual, if you go to judges, the fact that Ige is going to be pressuring, it's not going to be great. And let's not forget, I mean, Leron Murphy, he did prove us that he's a top 5 guys past weekend. Then you go out there, pressure him right away, put him on his ass in the first round. Josh Emmett didn't put this guy on his ass in 25 minutes. So it's like this guy clearly has power, and you don't want to get hit clean by this guy. And I think that he's going to have 15 minutes to land that big shot and to either steal around that Woodson's winning or to get a knockout or the knockdown. But if Woodson's getting dropped here, he's not going to get back up. That's what I'm telling you right now. And I think at some point, Ige is going to connect with something big. And with what I've seen, it's going to be a left hook in the pocket. So Mystic Mac prediction, left hook in the pocket, Danny get KO in the first round and get that 50K. So let's go. I know he lost his last 2 fights, but now look at the level of competition he's been fighting. Look at the guys he's losing against. You can go into his record and say, yeah, he's losing decision over and over again, but most of these guys are elite grapplers that he's losing to. When he's facing strikers, sometimes he's losing, but these fights are pretty close and against guys that hit very hard and are top 5 to top 10 guys. So now Woodson, to me, it's a prove me spot here. Maybe win a close decision, but I think all the upsides on Ige to either put him out or win a close decision. But he's the underdog here, where when he's way more proven and can finish the fight in any moment. So I think he's gonna do it and do it early.
Yeah, I don't know about early. I kind of thought it was going to happen kind of round 2, round 3. I agree with you. I think once Dan Ige kind of downloads everything and gets it going, he'll hurt Sean Woodson at some point. Whether he finishes him there or not, that'll be determined. But I'm also on Ige for a unit. I just think that the line should be closer to a pick'em. I think the boxing of Ige is fine. I think people are relying on the range of Sean Woodson, and Dan Ige is not afraid to soak punches. He'll eat one to throw 2. So I think it's pretty fair. Liam, what are you thinking?
You know, I always believe in celebrating the wins and owning the losses, right? I'll tell you guys, when I've had a lot of success capping somebody, Chase Hooper, fucking money printer for me. These 2 guys, I'm not so good at handicapping, right? One of the worst bets I ever placed, Gavin Tucker plus 130. We were ripping that up before the fight even got started, right? If you look back, I had Dennis Bazooka for several units against Sean Woodson, and I thought you saw some promise there early, but the guy, he said he came in great shape, and then afterwards he did the classic short notice fighter thing. I wasn't in great shape. So I was like, son of a bitch. But he came out there and he put some pressure on him and got in his face and threw some shots. And honestly, he got out wrestled, which was if you had said to me, like, of all the outcomes that was going to happen, Dennis Bazooka getting out wrestled by Sean Woodson was probably the last thing I would have put on my bingo card. So hats off to him. Like, the guy has the ability to find ways to win. You know, I think he's a gamer in that regard. He's got a great record in the UFC. At a certain point, you are what your record says you are. This guy's a UFC level fighter. He's got good wins, but I'm always skeptical of guys that are big, long, tall for a division because as they get older, they're cutting a lot of weight. Your body is susceptible. If somebody can hit you really hard, they can find ways to hurt you. You look at Jai Herbert. He looks like he's got a great frame for this lightweight division. He can have success. If he's at kicking range, he's doing great. But Ilya puts that one shot to his body, and my man froze like a statue, right? It's like you see that these guys don't really have the same ability to take a shot as some of these other guys. Dan Ige, you hit him with a frying pan, he's like, and he just keeps coming forward, right? He's that kind of dude. The other thing is he's got a lot of veteran savvy. So when we see him get hurt, the survival instincts are crazy. Like, I remember he got hurt by Edson Barboza, grabbed a hold of him like a lat drop. He was setting up and just pulled him on top. He was like, fuck you, man. We're going to the ground right now because my body is sore. And he just recovered on the ground, got back up. I believe he even won a close decision there. So Dan Ige is a guy that fights very close most of the time when he's going to hit the scorecards, win or lose. He's going to give you an honest effort. And then if he finishes the fight, that's a lot of his upside, right? On the other side, Sean Woodson, I would be surprised if he finished Dan Ige. It's not impossible. They're going to do punching, kicking. He's the long guy. But when you look at it, Dan does a very good job closing down distance on guys and landing shots that matter in almost every fight that he has. Does he put everybody away? No. Josh Emmett didn't land one shot that was as meaningful as Dan Ige landed, against Lerone Murphy. He had Lerone Murphy splattered for a second, and then he had to recompose himself, find a way back in. So I think Dan Ige is a guy that's always been on the precipice of doing something special, just can't break through. So maybe he's not that guy. But when it comes down to it, he's on a pay-per-view card where he's a little bit more used to these big lights and these big moments, I think, than Sean Woodson. And I honestly believe, like, that Saldana fight, I saw in the chat, a lot of great background, right? Don't want to hold it against him, but we've seen him go to close fights since then. We've seen him have competitive fights since then. Now he's fighting arguably the toughest guy of his career. I wanted to look back. Has Dan Ige fought big guys? Has he beaten guys that are taller than him? he is like 4-1 against guys that are 4 inches
Yeah.
taller or more than he is. So he's used to being the short guy, but he's never fought somebody this big. For me, there's a lot of unanswered questions. I acknowledge I've been shit at capping these guys' fights, but it's a Dan Ige or pass situation for me. I'm team Never Woodson, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that's fair. Key, what are you thinking here?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
My mute button was messing up. But yeah, this is a weird fight. Woodson's my guy. I think that obviously just such a unique fighter in this weight class. Ige fights close, has that one shot power that you just don't usually see in this weight class. Um, if I'm an Ige better, I'm hoping that he gets down and early and starts pressing pretty quickly, similar to how he was early, especially against Lerone. I think that could cause issues for Woodson, but if Ige is any sort of skirting around early and not just getting in Woodson's chest, honestly, I think that this has the potential to look like a bad bet. Once you start giving Woodson time to work and enough space to work, he starts getting a rhythm. He starts being able to see shots. And you can tell that the boxing background just starts to show up. He's rolling with shots. He's doing a good job of getting out of the way. But I don't rate, I think that at this weight class, I think 145, you are just a basic level of fragile. If you're 6'2.5" at 145, there's just a level of fragility there, especially chin wise. We saw it with Saldana. Saldana fucked off that fight by just being a pure idiot. But he pretty much whooped Woodson's ass early and made him look like a fool. I wouldn't be surprised to see Ige find the KO here. I think this could also end up a close decision. Woodson doesn't have a ton of power, so his margins are thin. So yeah, I think that this is going to be a close and good fight, and has some potential for some really jaw-dropping moments. So this is a one that I definitely want to have some fun with while watching.
Yeah, I'd agree. Comments? Woodson decision. Woodson.
Yeah,
I mean,
Woodson's a very popular play this week.
Woodson. When we'll finally give up on Ige? Never.
I mean, I'm gonna take Ige and a step down in competition, bro. I mean, I'm not betting Ige, and I mean, I've bet against him when he fight guys like Bryce Mitchell, you know, when you fight these type of guy, and then
you bet against him versus Bryce Mitchell.
Yeah, I bet Bryce Mitchell minus.
Oh yeah, I did too. I thought you meant you bet on him.
But when he fought Andrew Feely, I bet him pretty big, and I bet the KO too. You know, so it's like now I feel like it's a spot where people are low on him, and you just buy a low on it. And the narrative that Dixon said in the chat, man, I mean, I get it, the outside of the cage stuff, but at the end of the day, he got hit very hard on the chin and he go down. It's not because he was thinking about other things. He got put down by a punch. At the end of the day, it's a fight. And if Danny get put you down with the punch, you're not gonna get back up. That's how I feel. I don't think he's no Lil Murphy who's been hit in the head and have that warrior mentality. So yeah, I think that Danny is gonna put him out. But yeah, we'll see. It's a fun fight.
Yeah. All right, guys. Next fight is the first fight of our main card. As always, guys, we do this for free every week. Make you guys money, give you predictions, give you picks. Like, comment, subscribe. It's all we ask. Subscribing is the best way to support us. Again, we do it all for free. We always will. All our links are down below in the description. Liam obviously has his own page too and his own great show. We thank him for joining us. But let's get right into this one. Nikita Krylov versus Dominic Reyes. Dominic Reyes is 14-4. He's 35, 6'4" with a 77-inch reach. Nikita Krylov, he's 30-9. He's 32, 6'3" with a 77.5-inch reach. Odds on these two gentlemen, you can get Krylov anywhere from -185 to -200. You can get Dominic Reyes anywhere from +150 to +163. Key, I think we're going to have you go first here. I mean, Dominic Reyes took some time off. He's back. He's getting his career going in the right trajectory, I think, here. I mean, he fought an older Jacoby and an older Anthony Smith. Smith was kind of checked out. Nikita Krylov was missing for 2 years, almost longer. People thought he was in the Ukraine war or wherever he was. He's got recent wins over Span, Volkan Ozdemir, Gustafsson. Every single fight Nikita's in, he's hurt early in this fight. If Dom hurts him early, is he finishing the fight?
I if Dom isn't dead himself already, I think that this line has some recency bias, and I would be inclined to obviously get down a pretty big bet here, if Nikita wasn't coming off a 2-year layoff at this point. And I believe, does anybody know specifics on surgery here? What it was, or if it was just strictly war
Job
related.
usually knows the surgery stuff better.
I mean, I think I saw it was a shoulder surgery type of shit, but I'm not
you know
100%.
how that goes.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that.
Yeah. Regardless, 2 years isn't what I'm looking to hop right into, especially in light heavyweight with so much stupid variance it feels like in this division. But Reyes is not like back or anything. He beat Anthony Smith, who just doesn't want to fight anymore, and Dustin Jacoby, he just happened to catch him. Dustin Jacoby was looking fine up until that point. So to me, those are 2 wins that I'm not rating super highly. And then after that, I mean, we know the deal. He's been dying in every single fight. I wouldn't be surprised to see Krylov get him out of here in round 1. Krylov forces a fight one way or another, so Reyes is going to have to fight here. It's not like he's going to be able to back up and just land body kicks all night long. So this is a interesting, fun fight. The pick is Krylov minus 185. I can't lie, feels a little nasty to pay off of a 2-year layoff. But I don't think that Reyes is like back to being the dude he once was, or even close to it for that matter. So as of right now, it's Krylov or pass. I know there's some people trying to make Dominic Reyes angles this week. I'm not buying it at all.
Yeah, so I can confirm it was a shoulder injury that happened in the summer of 2023, and he said that he needs time to heal, and he said that he's going to be back to training and lifting work when he can fight again. But I'm not sure if he did surgery or not, but he had a very serious shoulder injury, they said, and he needed time off to heal.
Yeah. I hate to hear that, but guess what? I'm on Dominic Reyes here. I think Reyes, better athlete. I went in the tape. You know, I watched the Volkan fight. I watched the Ryan Spann fight, and every single narrative is the exact same thing. It's Nikita Krylov getting cracked on the feet, holding his head high, constantly getting hit. Dominic Reyes is probably going to have more precision than those guys. I'm not sure he's going to have more power. I think the whole chin narrative of Dominic Reyes has gotten better here. I don't think Krylov is just some crazy heavy power puncher. I think he's more takedown dependent. Going down to the mat, I might be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure Reyes is a blue belt. This goes down to a mat, we're going to have issues. The one thing about Dom Reyes, he's not like Volkan where he's just going to lay on his back and play guard and quit. Dom Reyes is a good athlete. He gets up. He's a bigger dude. He's strong. He has no problem fighting back to the fence, standing back up. People try and hang their hat on the performance where Reyes beat John Jones. I, for one, don't think he did personally as a John Jones guy. But, yeah, I don't know. I think here, as long as Dominic Reyes fights his fight and fights how he did against Jacoby, I think he'll be okay. Keep it safe on the feet. Keep it standing. He'll be fine. Carlos way too sloppy. I think Reyes is finally getting his shit together. He's got his confidence back. We talk about, a lot of the mental side of this game. I know Sean Brady just talked about it. Pat Sabatini just did it. Both these guys got their psyche right, and once they do, they look like different fighters. I think that's what's kind of turned Reyes' career around here. And we will talk about the guys that he got knocked out by, right? It's guys like Yuri. It's guys Ryan Spann can knock out anyone. It's Jan Blachowicz. We're talking about guys in the upper echelon of the division. I don't know. I think Ryan Spann here at plus odds is fine for me. What do you think, Liam?
Ryan Spann at plus odds.
Oh, I'm sorry. Dominic Reyes plus odds. What do you think, Liam?
I tend to lean a little bit more towards your perspective there, Peg. When I look at this fight, I think a lot of the problems for Dominic Reyes were confidence-based. You go from thinking you're the best fighter in the world to getting your ass kicked pretty soundly a couple times in a row. It'll change your perspective, right? You'll be like, man, am I the guy that I thought I was? And I think that when I look at these two guys, you've got one guy who's been staying in there, and when you're in there, you could lose, right? You take some big risks, and I think that's why Dom Reyes has kind of fallen in terms of his stock. He took a lot of chances. He was in there with some great guys, and a lot of times it didn't go his way. But I think that when you look at his body of work, he's put together a little bit of a better run, I would say, than Nikita Krylov. And also, that shoulder surgery for me does loom large here. I don't know what to expect from Nikita Krylov. I feel like at the best of times, he was kind of an inconsistent guy. You see him out there whooping on Paul Craig, and he's like, you know what I should do? Throw myself into a triangle and see how that turns out. It's like, almost like Jamal Hill, right? Put myself in it, get myself out, put myself in again. Let's try again. Like, I just feel like we've seen Nikita Krylov. He's got bad takedown defense. He's got bad striking defense. He's just a guy that's got clever submissions, an ability to mix it up. I mean, go back and watch the Johnny Walker fight. Some of the ugliest grappling exchanges. Not just one guy, both guys. Horrific. Just two rolling around, looked like amateur stuff. Just bad. And I think that when you look at Reyes, like, he's got submission wins over Ozzy Diaz a decade ago. You know what I mean? Like, the guy's been around. He knows how to compete on the ground. He almost submitted Yuri while he was unconscious. Like, the guy does have a understanding of the ground game. And I don't think he's just going to be an easy mark in those positions. So if that's not the case, I think, like, on the feet, it's an honest fight. And, like, I would probably, at the best version of both these guys, I would say Krylov, because he can attack from kicking range, which is a problem for Dom. I sold his stock when it was at an all-time high. Everybody was like, he beat John Jones. He's going to embarrass Jan Blachowicz. I was like, give me the plus 220, multiple units. Let's find out. Now it's a different story, right? Now it's the plus monies on Dominic Reyes, and I thought he was going to beat Jacoby. I thought he was going to beat Anthony Smith. I think he's going to beat Nikita Krylov. Do I think the wheels are going to come off again at the top? Yeah, I think they probably are, but I think this guy's on a redemption arc, and I think this is the kind of opponent he could beat right now. When you catch somebody who's been out of the cage for a long time and you're staying active, I like that situation. So for me, sir, I think Dominic Reyes is a little bit more comfortable in there on Saturday night. I think the confidence is back. And I think on the other side, Nikita Krylov is the one who's going to be saying, am I still the same guy? Can I still do it like I used to? And when you're taking years off, it's because you don't think you can.
Yep, that's for sure. Drav, close it out.
Yeah, you guys have stronger opinions than I do on this one. I don't really have a strong read personally. I think you can make a case on both sides. And a point that you guys didn't really talk about is Krylov durability. I think he has a insane chin. Like, he's super, super durable. And I still have question about Reyes' chin, personally. Like, Jacoby landed 6 punches in that fight, and Anthony Smith did nothing in the fight. So am I confident that he's going to be okay if Krylov hit him with a bunk, with a big bomb? I'm not so sure. And on the mat, I think Krylov's the better grappler, and he's still the younger fighter. Like, I mean, Reyes is 35 and Krylov is 32, and I just think the difference in durability could be massive. It could be a fight where Krylov can do a shit ton of mistakes and still win, and Reyes could get bunked. But yeah, I get the angle. I mean, Krylov is very hittable, and Reyes is a good striker, and he has power. But I will be kind of surprised if Reyes finish Krylov, if I'm being honest. But I wouldn't be surprised if Krylov finish Reyes. So I give Krylov more finishing upside because I think he's dangerous and he's the more durable fighter, and he's a younger guy. But the 2 years it's 2 years layoff, so it does scare me, the shoulder injury, all that. So to me, it's just a pass all around. Both of these guys, very violent guy. So if anything, under 1.5 plus money, I think it's a decent look. But as far as a pick, I'm gonna go with Krylov, but no really strong confidence. But Liam and Peg seems to be more passionate about me on this one, and they like the dog. So
good shot. Yeah, like Krylov. Everyone's worried about the layoff. The Reyes wins. Gotcha.
I would just say my difference is, like, I don't feel confident on Reyes at all. I just feel like if I was lining this fight, I would make it like minus 115, minus 120 Krylov.
Yeah,
not minus 185 or 200 or something at light heavyweight.
Yeah, either guy keep fine a finish. That's kind of how I feel too, especially on the mat for Krylov. Under is definitely live here. I just feel like it could be later in round 2 than the earlier half, to be honest. Both guys did decent in round 1. A lot of people on Dom. Yuri, that shoulder injury, yeah, people do talk about that a lot. Krylov's floppy, totally agree. It's a volatile fight. Where has he been? Shoulder injury. Nikita ITD. I don't know what the line on that is.
It's
Probably
pick 'em. It's -110.
meh. Rather just I don't know how I feel about that. Let's see. Is my dream blunt rotation? Jeez, Patty Killing crop loss. That's funny. All right, we haven't seen the socials. I don't know. Fight doesn't go the distance, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, with Krylov, it's a weird situation. And for me personally, if you didn't bet this fight and you want to bet on it, I would recommend looking for the interviews that he's gonna have this week and the weigh-in. It's not my style to do that, but it's the type of fight where you kind of want to hear what he has to say, how you look on the scale, and all that shit before if you want to bet him. But yeah, it's a fight that I think it's very important to try to have the much information that you can.
All right. Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Pitbull. This is Pitbull's first time coming back or first time in the UFC. Yair Rodriguez, tough draw for anyone on their debut. Yair is 19-5. He's 32, 5'11" with a 71-inch reach. Patricio Pitbull is 36-7. He is 37, 5'6" with a 65.5-inch reach. Odds, these two gentlemen, you get Yair anywhere. He's -200. Patricio is +170 to +175. Key, we'll have you go first here. I mean, for me, I think Pitbull knows the game plan to beat Yair. Mix it up, be a mixed martial artist. That usually wins you the fight. That's how I feel about it. What do you think?
Yeah, if you've been watching the podcast long enough, you know that my history with Yair is a colorful one, to say the least. Sometimes it's fuck Yair, sometimes he's the greatest fighter on earth to me. And right now, it's just a complete pass. I went through the phase of watching Brian Ortega literally roll his ankle badly right before the fight starts. Yair proceeds to whoop his ass for a few minutes. I mean, just beating his ass. And then Yair, in typical Yair fashion, just melts as soon as it gets to the ground. Yair, I don't know how to feel. I have to imagine that this is a decent matchup for him with just major length advantages. The speed advantage is going to pop. The kicks will look great here. And I don't think that we're obviously not getting the same pit bull that we would be getting in, let's say, 2020, 2019, whenever he was just rolling through Bellator, it felt like. I mean, he's getting nuked by bums and Ryzen. The Sergio Pettis, I didn't like him going to 135. I thought that was a bad look. And I just don't feel great about where Pitbull's at in his career. And not to say that I feel amazing about where Yair is at either, but I do see why Yair would be favorite here. For me, I don't see a ton of value on this line. I think if you're betting Pitbull, you're obviously hoping and assuming that he wrestles here. But I'm unsure that he's going to be able to get that done. For me, it's a pass. I'm very interested to see what Pitbull looks like. I wonder if UFC sort of gives him a second win, so to speak, in his career. But he's going to have to prove it to me in this organization for me to start wanting to bet him. So I'll pass, and I do think the Yair should be a favorite here.
Okay, Liam, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I largely agree with what Key just said, in that I think Yair is a deserved favorite in this spot, just because he's a very dynamic, dangerous striker. He tends to hurt almost everybody that he fights, or at least can keep it competitive. But I also think people have laid out a blueprint on how to beat Yair Rodriguez. I think he is a guy that he basically has the first layer of a ground game, which is I'm explosive off my back. Oh, I'll throw up a dangerous sub, man. You don't want to be in my guard. But it's like, if you pass his guard, he's like, oh, shit. Like, it's like, oh, you found me out. I didn't have anything. Like, it's like somebody that's like got a hand in their pocket, right? And you're like, oh, my God, does he have a gun? And then he pulls out a water pistol. It's like, I got you. It's like, that's kind of what it seems like in this fight, where I do believe, like, if you watch Pitbull operate on the ground, savvy guy, understands what he's doing. There's been times he does things that are kind of incredible, like on his back flat against the guy who's bigger than him, sits up to a single leg, lifts the guy up, puts him down. Now he's on top passing. You're like, okay, this guy knows how to operate on the ground. I think he's clearly better than Yair in those positions. But on the other side, like that Rizin fight is really scary looking. Like he's just out there. Like, was there one sophisticated technique? No, my man was like, just like swinging everything at him, and eventually he killed him, right? And I do think Yair, explosive violence is kind of his trademark. I think he can definitely do that. But the other thing I will note is this: like, if you look back, Josh Emmett, just couldn't touch Lerone Murphy hardly for the duration, right? I thought it was, maybe 4-1, 3-2, maybe he got a couple close enough exchanges, but like most of the time he was just hitting air. Like he couldn't find him. Footwork wasn't there. And meanwhile, you watch the fight with Josh Emmett and Yair. He landed on Yair. He hurt him really bad in the first round. Yair comes out in round 2, sticks him in the guts, and he's like, and he's panic stations, goes to the worst shot you've ever seen, puts himself right in the sub, and my Yair KO plus 350 evaporated in that moment. But when you watch, like, I thought the read was there, right? Like, if Josh Emmett stood a distance with him, I was like, he's going to punt him in the body over and over. If you throw kicks at the body at this guy, I think you're going to get taken down. Like, I think he's probably going to catch the kick. So it's a tricky fight for me to read, man. I will say, I think that the UFC audience tends to say, like, if you're from Bellator, you suck. You're a bum. You can't beat real guys. And I thought that Dan Hooker was going to beat Michael Chandler when he came over. Michael Chandler hardly won a goddamn fight since, but hey, he won that one, right? It's like they're highly motivated when they come over to show, I'm not a bum. I'm not a loser. I deserve to be here. And this is all in for him right now. He's at the age where there is no going back. The one thing I'll say about Yair is if you have to criticize him, every big fight of his life, every major opportunity of his career, he lost. It's like he's done a couple of big things, but when you go through it, like they set up a big show for him in Mexico, he pokes Jeremy Stevens in the eye and they almost cause a riot. Like the guy has not been easy to work with throughout his career. They tried to fire him at one point. I've been around the UFC long enough to know they haven't always liked this guy. So maybe they gave him Pitbull as like, let's find out what we have here. Sink or swim. Like if you can go out there and out grapple this guy, keep it on the feet, beat him up, hats off to you. We'll take the credit. UFC's better than Bellator. But if not, we're happy to make a star off you, just like we did with Brian Ortega. So nice. We did it twice. I bet the first time, you're at plus 155. They rebook it again. I bet Brian Ortega plus 148. Like, what was the overcorrection there? I was like, either way, it should have been a closely lined fight. We saw both guys' danger factor in both fights, but we also saw if you put this guy flat on his back, he'll start looking for a way out, man. Like he looked visibly uncomfortable for the duration of time he spent under Brian Ortega. Like on his face, he doesn't have a good poker face, my man. Like he's showing his discomfort. So for me, the game plan's out, but I haven't seen Pitbull stick to the game plan enough to be like confident. But it's not. I have to lay minus 110. It's a fight that I think is probably a close enough fight where I'd make it minus 130. Yair, and you're getting plus 165 on Pitbull. If I see 2-1, I'll probably have to go.
That's fair.
It's a fight I'm not too sure about either. I'll lean fight, don't go the distance. I don't know what you guys think about that. It's plus money, and I see I see finishing upside on both sides. I could see a Yair KO for sure. I could see a Pitbull KO. I could see a Pitbull submission. So plus money for that. That's kind of the way I'm leaning rather than picking a side, considering the fact that I think Pitbull, of course, is getting older, but his durability is kind of on the decline. He got hurt against Jeremy Kennedy. He got put down against Suzuki. Suzuki fight was at 155, and it was on short notice, but still, it was not a good look. Yeah, it's me. But yeah, looking into this one, it's like Yair kick's gonna cause him issues at distance. Like he's gonna kick him very hard, and I think Pitbull could get knocked out. Like I could really see that happening. But we can't deny the fact that the guy hit like a fucking truck, and he has very good counter striking, and he has very good fight IQ. So the only thing I'll say about his wrestling is I think his grappling is very high level, very good guillotine, but he doesn't wrestle a lot. That's kind of my problem here to back him, because if I saw more wrestling into his tapes, I would bet him, because if he mixed in the wrestling here, I think he could look very good. He has the cardio to do it for 15 minutes. And Yair, if you push him in the wrestling, the grappling, I think he's going to slow down in round 3. So, yeah, to me, it's a more violence angle. I feel like Yair is probably the rightful favorite. He's probably going to win based on, age and all that stuff. But Pitbull, I think UFC debut, he's ready. And it kind of reminded me of when MVP did his debut against Kevin Holland. MVP was an underdog, if I remember correctly.
Slight
So,
underdog, yeah.
yeah, he's not gonna beat Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland's like he's gonna beat him, and then he showed out and he made him look like an amateur.
That was not MVP, but yeah, definitely.
If Pitbull go out there and just wrestle Yair, he could make it look very easy. I rate his ground game. I think he's very good, but yeah, to me it's more again under fight don't go the distance. I'm waiting for the domestics and the limits to open. I don't have access right now, but I'm not sure I'm gonna bet it. But I think fight doesn't go. It's plus 110 on Bet Online, and if you look into other books, yeah, it's plus 110 around plus 105 DraftKings. Yeah, so I would have liked a bit better, but I think it's still a decent look. You guys like that angle as well?
Yeah, you actually took my exact take. I was going to say under 2.5 is the way I'd bet this fight. I think it's going to be violence. I think Pitbull has a chance to finish Yair on the ground. I think Yair has a chance to knock out Pitbull. I think they're going to fight like crazy. Yair is going to try and make a statement, and Pitbull's always there to bang too. So it's like violence seems good. Plus what? Plus 150 for the under.
It's plus 140. The only thing I'll say, if you look into their career, they got a couple late finishes, and some of them are over 2.5. So I think the fight doesn't go is a bit smarter. Yeah, you're paying a bit more, but yeah, it's plus 110 compared to plus 140. And I think the 2.5 minutes could be needed personally.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of want to take Pitbull here if I were to, for my prediction. Something about Yair, he's kind of just been underwhelming. He can be grappled, he can be taken down relatively easy. I mean, he can even lose fights on the feet. So it's kind of I don't know, kind of flash in a pan type of guy. He needs something flashy to win. It seems like, I don't know. I feel like Pitbull and the under seem fair to me. Yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward. I think Yair outstrikes him as well. Drav, never impressed with anyone's performance, bro. Pitbull, late sub. I agree with that. Yair's better mental overall. Let's see what Pepe says. Pepe says Pitbull isn't the same guy he was in 2020. Definitely true. He's definitely older now.
And I think when he cut down to 135 to fight Sergio Pettis, since that fight, he's not been the same. And even against AJ McKee, he looked all right in the rematch, but it's not like he looked prime. Yeah, it's been a long time. I mean, he did get a couple of takedowns against Adam Borix, but most of them were time of flying knees and kicks and stuff like that. Yeah, I could see that happening for sure. So yeah, I could see him capitalizing on that. But yeah, we'll see.
You got it. And then watching a few minutes behind when people think people got KO'd by a bum and rising. Chijiro Suzuki is extremely legit. I don't know. I don't know.
He has power and he's big.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'll rephrase on bum, but the way in which they fought for sure was screaming bum.
Yeah, and I mean, just Suzuki, he's good, but he lost his last two fights after that.
He's not a UFC level guy.
Yeah, he lost his last two fights. I know he has power and he's dangerous, so yeah, but still, it was not a good look for him to knock him out in the first round like that.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to our next fight. Next fight is one that everybody has eyes on and everyone's talking about. It's Bryce Thug Nasty Mitchell versus Gene Lord Silva. Bryce Mitchell, 17-2, 30 years old, 5'10", 70-inch reach. Gene Silva, 28 years old, 5'7", 69-inch reach. Odds on these two gentlemen, you can get Bryce Mitchell anywhere from plus 205 to plus 230. You get Gene Silva anywhere from minus 240 to minus 260. I'm going to go first here on this one just because I think I have the strongest take out of at least my crew. I don't know how Liam feels about it yet, but I do think Gene Silva is barking up the wrong tree. And I think people are forgetting who Bryce Mitchell was. Sure, he got knocked out by Josh Emmett. I mean, if that punch would have killed a cow if it hit him in the head. Before that, I'm sorry, he lost to the two-time, featherweight champ, beating both GOATs by knockout. And now he gets discredited for that. By the way, he took down Ilya, and we saw Marab couldn't do that. And now he's a plus 300 underdog to Gene Silva, where Gene Silva, yeah, he's looked great. Level of competition he's fought, meh. I mean, Gene Silva was getting taken down and making Charles Jourdain look like Gable
All right,
Stevenson.
bro.
And he-
We need to stop talking about that because everybody's saying that every fucking week, and the reason they're betting Bryce Mitchell is because of that. But do you really think Silva was training to defend takedowns for that fight and was expecting takedown
Gotta
against?
be well rounded, bro. It's MMA for a reason.
I mean, did he hold him down?
Not really. A little bit.
He
But
didn't do
guess what?
anything
He
with it.
wasn't Bryce Mitchell. Charles Jourdain, that's not
And-
Charles Jourdain's game.
and
Bryce
then,
Mitchell is going to be bigger and heavier and stronger. So,
yeah,
yeah, he's
and
going to take him down and he's going
and
to hold him down.
and how that fight ended. I think that's the part people are
KO.
missing.
KO against a guy at 145 who should have been a 135er. Yeah.
And when's the last time Charles Jourdain has ever been KO'd in his career?
Long time ago. But hey,
No, he's never been KO'd before.
I don't
So
know.
I feel like this, because I've heard that phrase so many times, and people are talking about and putting the clip on Twitter. He's been taken down, but like 5 minutes later, he put him on his ass and he knocks him out for the first time in his entire career. A guy who was very, very durable. So yes, he took him down, but I think it's important to put some context about how that fight ended. You know?
Yeah, but I don't know. I just think that if he's getting takedowns, you don't think Bryce Mitchell's getting takedowns
I mean,
at all?
he could take him down, but is he going to hold him down?
I think he possibly could. I mean, the top time that he has is way different than Jourdain's. It's just, I think Bryce Mitchell here at plus 300, easy bet. Plus 200, definitely not as favorable of a bet. I think as the line comes in, it gets a little bit closer, but I don't know. So you're really banking on Gene Silva to win by KO. I mean, on the feet, everyone talks shit about Bryce Mitchell striking. Bryce Mitchell is decent enough on the feet. I think Bryce Mitchell is getting a lot of heat for what he said on the mic. Obviously not our brightest moment. But, you know, as Dana White says, they're not presidents, they're cage fighters. What do you expect them to say on the mic? They're not these politicians where they're going to speak perfect. Bryce has got his own opinions, whether people agree with them or not. It's America. You could say whatever you got to say. But I think that's what people are really cooked into this line. Now the line's coming in a lot more. I think it's more fair now at plus 200, just because if Silva does keep this standing, odds are he probably could find a finish. But yeah, I don't know. If Bryce Mitchell gets his grappling going and he actually starts timing Silva, this could look way different. This could look I saw someone compare this to Pat Sabatini and Brito. I think Gene Silva is way better than Brito. But yeah, I think there's definitely a potential here for Bryce Mitchell to wrestle. I'll be on an island here and say I think Bryce Mitchell by decision plus 600 is a crazy line. I think that's his best path to victory. At plus 600, I don't see why you wouldn't take it because I don't think plus 200 is worth it. Liam, you're a jiu-jitsu guy. You're a grappler. What do you think about this take here?
Yeah, I'm also not a Bryce Mitchell guy. I'll just level with you there, without getting too deep into it. But hey, listen, bottom line is it's a cage fight at the end of the day, and you got to try and evaluate the skills, right? I think he's a skilled fighter. You can look at the Ilya fight. You can see that he's a skilled fighter. He goes out there, competes with him, landed some decent shots. Honestly, got a takedown in that fight, right? So you see that Bryce Mitchell can be a savvy enough operator, but I think maybe the gap that some people, maybe miss it in the understanding is like, I think he's a very good MMA grappler, but like there's levels to all grappling, right? Like we've seen Bryce Mitchell get submitted before, right? We've seen Bryce Mitchell be in bad situations on the mat before. We've seen him get hurt badly and need takedowns to just hold on and try and control somebody, not looking to pass, not looking to submit every time out. Right. So I think he's a good control style grappler. I think some of his finishing instincts leave something to be desired in the UFC. Who's the best guy he submitted? I would posit for people and be curious what their answer is. Right. I think he went to a split decision with Andre Fili, if my memory serves. I bet him at like a minus 137 there. So you look back, like Bryce Mitchell is a guy that I've always thought has decent skills, good upside, competes, but matchmaking is going to be everything for a guy like Bryce Mitchell. And he lost that Emmett fight. And for me, the UFC wants to cash him out. Now, whether or not they're going to be right with their prediction, that's always left to be seen. But if you think back to Dana White's specific comments he gave, he's like, luckily we're in this business where, you could root for him to get knocked out in his next fight. Yeah. And then he has a guy basically audition for it, come out and say, boss, put me in. I will be the one to put him down. Like he's like, seeing dollar signs just flash before his eyes. So what I will not say is that this is a predetermined outcome. Gene Silva, it was written. He's so obvious. But I'm just like, when you ask me why did they make this matchup, it's because Gene Silva, what has he shown a very good propensity to do? Frame off people that are trying to take him down and punch them really, really hard in their chin and knock them the fuck out. And he did that to Charles Jourdain, which nobody's done that to. He framed him off with a beautiful uppercut. If you think it's just one time, I encourage you to watch the Weston Wilson fight where he did the exact same thing. And if you want to see Weston Wilson grappling, he went out there against Joanderson Brito and he's got some attempts. He's looking for legs. He's trying to be creative. And against John Silva, he made it levels, showed the gap. Hold him at bay. Don't let him get close. The Chael Sonnen School of Self-Defense, and he beat the fucking piss out of him. So I think when you look at this guy, I think he's going to beat the shit out of Bryce Mitchell. I think he's going to knock him out. The price is prohibitive. That's just the way I see it. And that's my opinion. So we'll see how
Key, what do you think?
Yeah, I think John knocks him the fuck out. It's sad to say for your Bryce Mitchell bet. And respect to everybody who's taking the plunge there. Because I understand that John's ground game is somewhat of an unknown, and everybody's pulling out the Jourdain clips. I don't think that really holds much weight here. It should be super factored in. Outside of, do you or do you not think that John Silva is dumb enough to pull Gilly here? And for me personally, while I think that he does have lapses of judgment, I don't think that he's going to be pulling guillotine here. The Fighting Nerds, I mean, so far from what we've seen from them, are solid game planners, and they obviously know here. I'm willing to bet on the fact that John's takedown defense, one, will hold up, but two, even if on the mat, I mean, all signs point to him being able to get up. And we've seen him get up, but fluid hips, good athlete. Like, I'm not thinking that he's just going to be a fish off his back whenever he gets down there. So I don't think that Bryce is going to be able to put together 2 rounds. And especially, again, we haven't seen him get hit with a punch since he died against Emmett. I mean, we just haven't seen it. The Cron Gracie fight is a very unserious fight. And the UFC trying to show him some love, and now he comes out with some crazy comments, and now they put him right back in the pit. So the Dan Ige fight, I feel like people forget that was pretty thin margins there, being completely honest. And although he did pull that out, that was a tough fight. The Topuria fight, we know how that went. I actually had a Topuria at -140 ticket there, which is so crazy to think about in hindsight. But I really think that here John's going to be able to defend takedowns. I think something up the middle is going to catch Bryce and put him out cold. I think that this is a highlight finish. I think that the star continues to grow in John Silva. I think that we're seeing something. I'm not saying he's going to just make an instant title run or something, but we're seeing a special fighter, in my opinion. And I think that John's going to figure it out, and he's going to get it done here.
Drop, anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, I like this fight. I think it's a banger. But Silva is not a guy I'm trying to, get in front of right now. He's fucking good. He's fucking dangerous. And I think that he mentioned his counter shots, his timing, his precision. It's not only power, how he pick his shot and his counters, just nasty, man. And if you look, the last 3 guys that he's knocked out, all of them are very, very durable. And he knocked them all of them, And these fights that he got to finish against, he beat the shit out of Drew Dober. And after that, Drew Dober goes into his next fight and he can't take a punch no more. He took that guy's soul, I feel like. And then my guy, Jourdain, bro, never been KO'd. And that uppercut, like Liam mentioned, was fucking slick. And it's not the only fight he tried to do that. He's very good with these shots. And when a guy trying to take you down, what do you want? You want to time an uppercut in his face? What, you want to time a knee in his face? Bro, you might go down. And Key, you mentioned another very good point. We've not seen Bryce Mitchell getting hit after the Josh Emmett fight. I don't think his chin is cooked. He's still young, but Silva striking is fucking legit.
He was seizing on the fucking floor. I mean, we can't expect for him to
4 minutes.
Yeah, we can't expect his chin to be the same or even close to what it once was, to be fair.
Yeah, and here it's like, yeah, Bryce could have some minutes on the feet. Like, it's not like his striking is awful, but I mean, Silva's gonna counter him the fuck up. Like, if Mitchell can get takedowns here, Danny Gay made his face look like a mess. Like you mentioned, that fight was a split decision type fight. I bet Mitchell there, but like, it was not an easy fight at all. And I think Silva's much more physical than Danny Gay, and I think that he's more dangerous over the course of 15 minutes because that guy hit like a truck, but he can hit like a truck for 15 minutes and he's not gonna get tired. And he's fucking big and strong. He goes to 155 against a guy in Drew Dober who should be a weight class bigger than him, and they look the same size. And Drew Dober trying to do everything he can, take him down, goes into the clinch. He can't do anything because Silva is so strong. And again, the Jolene fight. I mean, where the fuck in any fight Jolene trying to wrestle? He doesn't. He's a striker. That's his game. And he was panicking because, and he said it in interviews in French that I've listened. He said, that guy, he hit me like nobody hit me before in the face. Like nobody hit me hard like that. So, and I believe him because, and then Melsick, he's a very good kickboxer. Melsick, when he's losing normally, he's getting grappled, he's getting tired. This guy go out there, he knocked him out in the first round. Never been KO'd before either. So I think we need to put some respect in on this guy name. And the bookies done it. They put him as a big favorite. I agree with that. And also, like, Peg, you bet plus 300. At the end of the day, how wrong can you be? I understand it.
I agree.
The step up in competition, I'm not going to shit on the plus 300. What I'm saying is I feel like everybody's betting Bryce Mitchell. Everybody's showing the clip of when he got taken down against Charles, but nobody's talking about the Bryce Mitchell KO against Emmett anymore. Nobody's talking about what he does to these to Shah at the end of their fight. So I feel like some context need to be put into the grappling. And again, he's at a camp that they watch a ton of tapes. They're going to be preparing well, and they're going to be ready to defend takedowns here. And on the feet, I feel like it's only going to be a matter of time where he find the KO. So Silva KO, it's around plus 120. Sign me up.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, I did so many comments. I can't go through all of them. All right. At least I went through and picked out the best ones. Co-main event of the evening, Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett. This is a 5-round fight. Michael Chandler is 23-9. He's 38-5'8" with a 71.5-inch reach. Paddy Pimblett, 22-3, 30 years old, 5'10", 73-inch reach. Odds on these two gentlemen. Thought the line was coming in a little bit. It is plus 125 on Mike Chandler. Paddy Pimblett minus 145 to minus 160. Joff, go first here. I mean, everyone wants America's champ, Mike Chandler, to win and then call out Conor McGregor again, right? That's what's going to happen here. We know how this goes. Mike Chandler, win or lose, calls out Conor McGregor and says he needs his last shot. I mean, do you think he knocks out Paddy Pimblett, who's been rocked in every single fight, or does Paddy find the sub where, we see Chandler lose by sub multiple times? How do you think it goes?
I'll be short and sweet. I don't really know about this fight. I'm not sure, and I'm not gonna go out there and give you guys a deep breakdown that I feel strong about. I'm not gonna give you shit. The thing I'll say is I think it's gonna be hard for Paddy to control Chandler for 15 minutes 25 minutes if he doesn't finish him. Chandler is strong as fuck and he hit like a truck and he's very dangerous. And it's a step up for Paddy. So I feel like Chandler's going to have his chances to knock him out. Paddy's got there with his chin up in the air. So I feel like it could be dangerous. And Paddy wrestling is not that great. So I know Chandler's older. But yeah, to me, it feel like a close fight. But again, career trajectory is huge on the side of Paddy. The age, the momentum, all that. I get that. But Chandler is going to a fight against Charles Oliveira to fighting Paddy Pimblett. Paddy Pimblett is going against a fight with Bobby Green, I think it was, to fucking Chandler. It's not the same. And I bet him against Bobby Green. He was an underdog, and people were betting Bobby Green all week. So, and now he's a favorite against Chandler. But I'll let you talk about it. You posted as your free bet of the week, and you got a lot of shit on your post. So go ahead, bro. What you think?
Yeah, talk to us.
Yeah, I posted Chandler last night as my free bet of the week. I played this number early at plus 129, thinking that it would come in. And I have people in my comments telling me that Luigi Vendramini has more power than Michael Chandler and has a better chin than Michael Chandler. So obviously, we've just lost our mind as a community. I'm old enough to remember as somebody who did bet Patty last time out at plus 160, which was not an opener. That line sat up for weeks. I bet Patty at plus 160 against Bobby Green, happily. But
So
this
did
is a
I.
completely different matchup stylistically. I mean, just completely different. Patty was able to sit behind a couple kicks and move laterally for a few minutes until Bobby slipping on a banana peel and Patty doing what he does on the grappling end. But Patty, don't allow that to change who Patty's been his whole career, which is somebody who has had poor striking defense and cardio has looked very, very sus. I mean, we're talking the Tony Ferguson fight. Tony's having to tell Patty to come up, and Patty's willing to play off of his back and pull guard. We're not seeing a guy that has real process, in my opinion. I mean, since the Jared Gordon fight, you're talking a bad Tony performance, in my opinion, where round 3 he looked absolutely awful, and then 3 minutes of a Bobby Green fight where he just ended up getting some nice grappling sequences. And to his credit, Patty is very slick as a grappler, and I do think that is his translatable skill towards the higher level at the UFC level. But you're talking about a guy, Michael Chandler, who just spent 25 minutes comfortably with the most dangerous submission artist to ever touch the UFC. So I'm not thinking here that Patty's just going to put on a grappling clinic against a Division I wrestler who has seen the best of the best on the grappling end already. From a stand-up perspective, this is steroids versus steroids. It's obvious that Patty has gotten on a cycle. I mean, he magically goes from fat fuck to most ripped guy and built to the gods at 155.
That's called hard work, man. Don't take it away from
Yeah,
him.
you call it hard work, I call it steroids. And to be fair, Michael Chandler is a walking steroid advertisement too. And so I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, Patty is going to dance around on the outside with kicks, because I don't think that that's going to happen. And I put in my highlight tape for my free bet, I purposely put in some sequences that were very similar to each other, where Patty was getting rocked and then taken down and willing to play off of his back. And then also the Dan Hooker sequence for Michael Chandler. I mean, I think that that's something that is very, very replicable in this spot with Patty's long man's defense constantly chin up in the air. We saw Jared Gordon just sit there and, I mean, look like a world-class boxer just walking Patty down in range. And Patty's very uncomfortable in boxing range. He wants to sit behind kicks, and I just simply don't think that that's going to be able to, that's a sustainable game plan on the feet against Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler is still shown explosion, and I know that the record looks ugly as of late, and I know that it's not the sexiest play on earth, but you got to think about who he's going up against. I mean, you're talking about Charles Oliveira, all-time great, Dustin Poirier, Hall of Famer, Justin Gaethje, Hall of Famer. Those are guys that he's losing to. Meanwhile, Patty's getting bonked by Luigi Vendramini, having bad sequences against Vargas, losing against Jared Gordon, looking awful in round 3 against Tony Ferguson. I mean, are we serious here in terms of difference in competition? I mean, I get the trajectories are going 2 different ways, and while that's cool and all, but Michael Chandler's been facing the best that the UFC has to offer, while Patty's been getting washed up vets that he's half-ass beating. And Jared Gordon, I think that we all can agree, everybody in chat included, Jared Gordon won that fight. So I'm not
100%.
gonna sit up. So I'm not gonna sit here and act like, oh, Patty has a ton of grappling upside, and if he gets on top, it's trouble. I don't expect for Chandler to have many issues, and I do think that Chandler has top time upside in rounds 3, 4, and 5. And I think this being 5 rounds matters a shit ton here, because Patty's cardio hasn't looked good in 3-round fights, and we've seen Michael Chandler. I know everybody wants to say yes, he has shown a lot of dumb moments in the octagon. But one thing you can't question is Michael Chandler is shown to be a dog throughout his whole UFC stay. There's been no ounce of quit in him in many fights where he could have just taken an easy way out. The guy just hasn't flat out quit on himself ever. And so I think that here, Michael Chandler, 5-round experience, been in wars. I think that he has the striking advantage. I don't think that Patty's a good striker whatsoever. I think that he'll have some kicks early on, and he better get on that calf kick early. Otherwise, it's very much he's definitely in trouble on the feet. But I think that Patty will have some kicks early, maybe be able to move around just a little bit. But I think that Chandler's going to catch him eventually. I could see a KO. I could even end up seeing. I give all decision upside to Chandler here for sure. Because rounds 3, 4, and 5, I know that Patty can't keep a good pace, and I've seen Chandler dig deep and give people hell in rounds 3, 4, and 5 before. So, for all those reasons, I think that Chandler has to be the side. I know that the age and trajectory and all the narrative points to Patty, and while that's cool and all, you still got to glove up and put the gloves on and fight. And I think that Michael Chandler is infinitely the better fighter here. So it's not a sexy bet, but I think that Chandler gets it done here.
Yeah, I'm not on Chandler money line. I actually just played Chandler plus 5.5 at plus 105 on DraftKings. That is going to be our spread of the week. I already made the video. I'll post it tomorrow. I just got to pick a song for Mike Chandler. I don't know if you guys have song recommendations for that video. Let me know. I'm open to any of them. I've just been trying to figure out what to put on it. But yeah, plus 105 for plus 5.5, and then plus 120 for the money line. I mean, if somehow Patty Pimblett wins a split decision or a close decision, our bet covers. You got to give the later rounds to Mike, KO to Mike. I mean, Patty's pretty much sub or bust in my opinion, I think. But plus 5.5, plus 105. That's my bet. It's on DraftKings. There is no spread on BetOnline. I don't know if there was one and they removed it or not. I didn't check there, but like I said, it's on DraftKings. It'll come out on most other commercial books. But yeah, plus 5.5. Liam, how do you think this fight goes?
I think if you had to pick a betting side, I would probably lean towards Chandler. But I'll just say this, man. I've been burnt by Michael Chandler several times in the UFC. I felt like I called his fight against Dustin Poirier to a T. I had the ends by sub at a huge number. I had Chandler sub at a huge number. I had Chandler money line big. And at a certain point, you have to ask, like, what could he have had gone better for him in that fight? Like, he's on every position that he wants. He's cheating from the back, trying to get the choke. He still couldn't submit him. It's like this dude just finds a way to blow it for me in like a lot of these fights that are winnable, right? And I do think that the Conor McGregor fiasco, it's a factor for me. Like, the guy wasted a lot of his career just sitting on the sideline. And the one thing that I will slightly push back on with the level of competition thing this week, like, yes, he's fought the better level of competition, no doubt. I do think you have to contextualize his UFC wins. He caught Tony Ferguson on the midst of a 3-fight skid, right? Obviously, Patty did the same. But if you go back and look, I think both of them had comparable performances in that fight. Like, Michael loses the first round, and everybody's like, oh, my God, Michael Chandler's going to blow it against Tony Ferguson. And then he kicks his head into the third row, and they're like, okay, fair play. Like, he got it back in spades. Patty came out there and 10-8'd Tony in the first round, right? And tried to get the finish, tried to put everything into it. Ref doesn't give it to him. So now he's exhausted, and he's like, fuck, I got to be out here for another 10 minutes. And he didn't look so great, but I think he just looked for the finish and spent himself doing so. So now you go back, and Michael Chandler, when he got to the UFC, everybody was telling me how he sucked because he lost to Will Brooks, and he lost to this guy in Bellator, and he's losing to Cans in Bellator. It's like, so before he sucked, and I thought that he was going to beat Dan Hooker. But we also have to acknowledge Dan Hooker's coming off the Dustin Poirier 5-round insane war, training in his garage during COVID time. It didn't work out for him. Now we look in hindsight, it's like, yeah, that probably wasn't going to work out for him. But now you just look at where Michael Chandler's at. He's won one fight in the last so often, and it was a fight where he was losing the minutes and found a way to knock the guy out. I think if you look at where Patty's at, I've seen improvements from him over time. Like, if you had said he beats Bobby Green, no problem for me. If you had said he submits Bobby Green and makes him look amateurish on the ground, that actually surprised me. And the one thing about Patty is his ground game is very good. And if you look at the way that Michael Chandler was competing against Dustin Poirier, I think Dustin Poirier is a great fighter. On the feet, he's like the last guy you want to stand in front of in the UFC. But on the ground, that's where you've been able to see him falter at the highest levels. The elite guys he's fought, Charles, Islam, they all put him away on the ground. That's the way it goes, right? And it wasn't the case with Chandler. He gets every position he wants, he loses it, and then he gives up. And he gave it up. And I was like, man, if I see competitive scrambles in this one, I think Patty just has more in those positions. Like, I think Michael, at a certain point in his career, could have used his explosivity and scrambled out and grabbed a wrist and done all this stuff. But that, Charles Oliveira fight, it almost told me Charles was like maybe not as dangerous as he used to be. And we'll have to evaluate that going forward. But he was almost playing a little more cautious than we're used to from Charles. And I think it was to show he had 5-round cardio to try and book that Islam rematch. And I think that when it comes down to it, I don't trust Michael Chandler, and he's sold on me several times. And when you look at Patty in the past, even when he loses the fight, he wins the fight. If this gets to the cards and everybody's like, this is a clean win for Chandler, and they fucking raise his hand again, I just won't be that stunned because I've seen it before. So ultimately for me, I think it's a dogger pass situation that I'm going to end up passing. I lean violence though. I don't think we're going to see the cards for the reasons you mentioned, where I don't think the cardio is necessarily there for Patty if he sells out on offense early. So for me, I think somebody's probably getting put away here. I think Chandler's got the power to knock him out. He's dangerous. He comes forward. Patty keeps his chin right up in the air, but I think Patty's going to throw back regardless. And I also think if they end up on the ground scrambling around, I could see, ground and pound elbows. Maybe Chandler gets in that way, but ultimately I think Patty is just dangerous off his back against most guys in the division right now. So I do think he's going to offer some real threats there.
Chandler's also a new father. They had a baby like a week ago. I think one of their own, actually, babies. So interesting stuff. Just food for thought. Staff last month, he's talking about Patty. Bet Chandler money line over 1.5, break even. That's definitely possible. There's just so many comments here. Patty ITD. Yeah, the common theme between a bunch of my friends, everyone thinks Chandler's washed at this point. Losing around to Tony Ferguson is nasty work, but so did Patty. Patty almost lost it too. So
and to be fair, to give a little bit more context, that was the last bit of Tony that we ever saw. Like that was Tony's last breath. I mean,
trying to find Pepe's comment. Oh, here it is. This is the one everyone's arguing about. Who do you favor in this fight? I mean, Ilya minus 1,000. Yeah, he's fucking people.
You would fucking smash him.
Yeah. Patty the daddy. Can't get behind it. Yeah. Bad to the bone. Crimea River. That's a funny one. Yep, that's a joke.
Yeah, we get it.
But all right, let's go to our main event. Guys, again, like, comment, subscribe. We do it for free every week. You'll see us here. We're going to make you guys money. We're all profitable, all four of us here. All links will be below. Main event, Alexander, the great Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez. Alex Volkanovski is 26-4. He's 36, 5'6" with a 71-inch reach. Diego Lopez is 26-6. He's 30 years old. He's 5'11" with a 72-inch reach. Odds on these two gentlemen, it was a straight pick 'em like before the show started. The line's back to -125. It keeps jumping between Volk being -125 and a pick 'em. Diego Lopez anywhere from +105 to +117 on my bookie, but I don't even know if my bookie's a real book. All right, main event time. I'm on Volk. This is a y'all must have forgot spot. I mean, we're talking about the greatest 145er of all time, probably. People keep giving that to Ilya. There were plenty of people in line that he could have beat at 145, and he's already decided to move up. So I don't know. You can't credit him over just beating Volk and Max, I think. So yeah, I'm still giving it to Volk here. Father Time is undefeated. I agree, but Volk at -110 is a no-brainer. I mean, you're getting literally one of the best guys. He can ground and pound. He can wrestle. He's got decent jiu-jitsu. He's got decent jiu-jitsu defense. He's got good leg kicks. He's got good distance. He's got a good jab. You could go on and on about all the good things Volk does. Knocked out by Islam. Came back way too soon, knocked out by Islam again. But I'm sorry. The first one, he went to a decision where he debated would beat Islam. Knocked out by Islam in the second one. Came back too soon, fought Ilya. Got knocked out. Would have killed anyone. It's Ilya. But honestly, I don't know. I mean, listen, Diego Lopez is great. Everyone likes him. He's got the cool hair. He's got the crazy haircut. He fights like a savage, this, that, and other. But listen, he went life and death with Dan Ige off the couch in 8 minutes. He's got 10 minutes of cardio. Sure, he's working on that now. We've seen him go 5 rounds twice in regionals. I went back and looked at those. Looked okay, but I don't know. Volk has a way of making you work and tax a little bit harder and will put on pressure, everything like that. I do like the people are like Volk Pick'em. I love that. I'm on it, minus 115. I played him for, I think, 2 units. But some of the books are putting out, I think it's late props on Volk. I think they made him by KO in round 4 and round 5, like plus 2,000. I haven't bet them yet, just I'm waiting for commercials to come out with those. But, I mean, Volk by KO round 4, round 5 probably hits at a pretty high clip. We've seen Diego finish late in fights, especially if he's tired. I don't know. Everyone's counting out Volk. Now's the time. You're getting Volk, one of the smarter fighters here. I don't know. I can't go on about it enough. It's just you almost a forgot spot. I'm also the biggest Volk fan probably ever. Short King, stand up. It is what it is. Liam, go ahead. Another Short King. Who do you got here?
You know, I'm still kind of kicking around in my mind who I think is going to win this fight ultimately. If you press me for an answer right now, I would lean towards Diego Lopes, and I'll just tell you the reason why. I think timing is everything in MMA. If you've ever heard me break down a fight before, I talk about it all the time. You know, you schedule a fight 3 years from now, could be a way different result. You schedule it 3 years ago, could be a way different result. It's the guys on Saturday. And I think that the one thing about Alexander Volkanovski that stood out from the moment he got to the UFC, you can go back and watch his first fight, watch the post-fight interview, is his confidence. The guy knew he was the baddest man on the planet when he got here. That's a rare guy in the UFC. Those are guys with championship trajectory. Some guys are happy to be here. They're like, I made it. I did it. It's all done. He's talking about who he's going to be, what he's going to do, and how nobody's going to be able to stop him. And he was right. You know, and whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. I've told you, I'm a wrestling coach. You know, I tell my athletes that all the time because if you don't believe it, it's not going to happen, right? You have to start with belief and be delusional. I'd rather you have delusional confidence than have realistic pessimism, right? So when you look at a guy like Volkanovski, you know, you have to beat confidence out of a great fighter. You know, they're not going to give it up until you take it from them. And the Islam fight, he lost a close fight. Man, that didn't affect his confidence at all. So much so that he was like, I'll get off the couch and fight this guy. I don't care. You know, just to get out of the house, just to stop drinking, which, by the way, that's a major red flag, okay? When a guy's basically telling you, like, I can't live a normal life outside of fighting. I don't know what to do. So when I got a call, I took it no matter what. I didn't think about my career. I didn't think about my legacy. I didn't think about how to manage I thought it would be more comfortable for me to be in there than to not, so let me go do it. And then after, what did he live with? Regret, instantly. Yeah. Right? He talked about it right after. I shouldn't have taken this fight. That was really stupid. And what has happened since? He tried to build it back up. I have the confidence. I could do it again. I could get back on the hump. And he's not taking the easy route. He's taking the hardest route. Give me the toughest guy. Give me these brutal fights. So Yair Rodriguez, where he's got the clear path to victory, he goes out there and got it done. I wasted a half unit to find out. Hats off to him, right? But Yair has major flaws and liabilities. He's got one area of the game. You take him there, you don't get triangled, you're okay. You're going to win the fight then. Diego Lopes isn't like that. He's got danger factor everywhere. You take this guy to the ground, he's attacking legs, he's attacking arms, he's looking for chokes, period, right? Whether he's on the top or the bottom, whether he's taking the back or whether he's playing from the guard. Then you look at, okay, if the fight's on the feet, how does this guy compete? He's competing to kill you. He's looking to try and hurt you at all points in the fight. He's trying to knock you out brutally. He's not afraid to follow you to the ground and beat you up on the ground too. It's like this guy screams danger everywhere, right? And now when I'm coming into a fight and I've just been knocked out twice, every fighter wants to tell themselves, I can't be knocked out. Nobody can hurt me. But eventually you start to have the proof in the pudding. Yes, I can be knocked out. Yes, I can be hurt. And when you go back and listen to what Volk said after the Ilya fight, because now, again, we're talking about different fight, different outcome. I bet Ilya plus 152. I bet him plus 125 all the way on down. I thought great spot for him, right? He goes out there and wins the fight. And afterwards, Volk said, there was a few times out there where, I wanted to pull the trigger and I couldn't. And every great fighter that you've seen get washed in front of you stops having the confidence to throw. And they eventually just are standing there watching fights happen in front of them. And I hope that that's not the case with Volk this weekend. But why was he not answering with punches against Ilya? Because he knew what the consequences could be. He was trying to kick the leg out from under him. He's like, please don't hit me hard. Because if you do, I know I can get knocked out. It just happened to me last time. And he got knocked out again. And now what do you know for sure if you're Alexander Volkanovski coming into this fight? I could get knocked out in this fight. That is one thing I know for sure. And by the way, when I saw the visuals at the last press conference and my man sitting there, with the old man suit on, laying back, we're not here to have this isn't about humor, my brother. This is about fighting, right? This is a dangerous thing. Daniel Cormier once said, the last place on earth that you want to be playing games is inside the octagon. And this guy's sitting at the press conference doing the old man gimmick and reading the paper and all this shit. And I was like, my brother, you're an entertainer now, and I wish you the best. And this is the fear I have with Michael Chandler as well, right? After his last fight, does he get up and say, guys, I'm so sorry I lost this fight. I gave everything. No, he said, I'm an entertainer. I'm going to come out here and put on a show for you guys. I don't give a fuck if I win or lose. It's like, all right, then that's the end of the championship run as far as I can be. So, again, will I take my hat off and say he's an all-time great fighter and I'm fucking happy for him if he wins? Absolutely. But if you're saying, Liam, gun to your head, what do you expect to happen here? I think Diego Lopez is going to knock him out in the first 2 rounds. So that's the way I see it going. I think that the longer the fight goes, the more likely it is that Volk has taken him down, beat him up, broke his will, got on top of him. I saw some pictures early in the week where he looked fat and out of shape. I believe those are old pictures that are being photoshopped because then I saw new pictures of him this week in the fight shorts, the custom ones, looking in great shape. So if Volk's in great shape and he can drag this guy into deep waters, fast twitch guys that cut a lot of weight, guys that swing big heavies on every exchange, they're going to get tired. But the other thing is they can hit you, hurt you, and knock you the fuck out. And we've seen all the way back from the Chad Mendes fight, guys. And I talk about when I've been watching this sport for so long that I've remembered things people have forgotten. He got hurt badly in that fight. And what did he have to do? He had to be a man about it and say, fuck this, bite down on the mouthpiece and not move backwards, move forwards. He came forwards, bit down on the mouthpiece and beat the shit out of Chad Mendes while he was hurt and broke him mentally and made him quit. That was how he won the fight. You can't do that at a certain point in your life and career. Like, you've done it too many times. You took the beating from Ortega, came back and whooped on him. Like, he's done all these things. That's why he's the great. But I think the greatness is like everybody's limit to their greatness. He went out there and gave everything. I don't think this guy will ever look back and say, I didn't give everything. I didn't take on every challenge. I didn't give myself every opportunity. But when you take on these tough guys that are young, hungry, they still want it. Dude, I can tell you right now, Diego Lopez wants this better than anybody. He said when he got to the UFC, much like Alexander Volkanovski, you will remember who I am. Maybe not tonight will I be the world champion, but I'm coming for this belt. You will know Diego Lopez. And by the way, fucking not too long later, he's on your pay-per-view main card, right? He's right here for a title shot. So I think this guy, do you believe in destiny? I do.
All right, Liam. Great breakdown as always. Key, what do you think for this one?
Yeah, every bit of brain cells tells me Volk is going to give this guy issues here. But the intangibles, as Liam has mentioned, it does feel like Lopez is going to get it done. But I will say, I think that this is not just when Lopez connects, does Volkanovski have the chin? Does Lopez even connect? I think that his footwork is still pretty bad. I don't think that his footwork from boxing range is very good. He's had some great outcomes just because he's an athletic freak. Another guy who probably has a good doctor or two in his camp. And I think has peaked at the right time. I think that the Ortega performance, while good, Ortega's a punching bag and has been for a very long time. And if Ortega isn't able to have a massive advantage on the mat, it usually leads to bad things for him. And so he looked fine in that fight. Ortega's jab was giving him issues and constantly snapping his head back, which I did not like because Ortega was half dead there. The Ige fight, we know that he gassed out in round 3, but to his defense, he did also take that fight on short notice, which people tend to forget. Due to Connor falling out, they threw Peloton and him on that card at the same time. So I will cut him a little bit of slack there. I am sad to say that I was part of the Sadiq Yusuf experience. I am a victim. I was a part of that experience. I am sad to say. But I think that this guy, and I've said it since the beginning of time, while he's gotten so much better over the years, I don't think that there's a shit ton of substance to his game overall. He's not going to wrestle Volk here. It's not like he's going to establish a jab and put on a great striking clinic here. It's can he land a big hook or not? That pretty much is the question, it seems. I don't. He's not subbing Volk. And in Volk's defense, it's not like Volk was the wars or our thoughtful performances about Volk. It wasn't like he was getting his ass whooped in the Ortega fight. He just had to fight through some subs. He fought a clean performance in masterclass against Korean Zombie, and we know what he did to Holloway, something that nobody has put on a 25-minute clinic against Max Holloway ever. The Islam fight, I hate it that his career was poorly managed there. But Volk has stayed the same guy. I mean, won round one against Topuria. Gave even Topuria some issues. Who Topuria, I rate his footwork very highly. And I
He
think
won round one against Topuria, by the way.
Yeah.
And busted his nose up. So
And I think that Topuria had some issues with Volk's lateral movement and tracking him down. And eventually he did find him, but Topuria is a very nuanced game, and especially in boxing range. I mean, it's very much levels on that end. I don't think that Lopez has that same process. I think that Volk's jab is going to be a problem. And think about that. I mean, Ortega's jabbing you and having success and snapping your head back. What is Volk's games? Jab, low kicks, inside low kicks are going to be there. I think that he's going to tear the legs up. And it's not that I think that Lopez is some gasser and just going to quit on himself, because I don't think that that's the case. I think that Volkanovski is just not going to let him breathe that much. It's constantly going to make him work. And that's something that Lopez just hasn't dealt with a ton in the UFC. I do think that Volk has top time upside, especially in rounds 3, 4, and 5. Lopez will be fine with playing off of his back because that is who he has been at heart throughout his whole career. And at the end of the day, I mean, I can't think of a time where I've seen guys go to war and lose against Fury FC guys, and now 2 years later, 3 years later, is fighting one of the greatest of all time, and we're talking about a close line. I feel like at any time if somebody would have told you, oh, you get Volk at minus 120s versus Diego Lopez, I feel like everybody on earth would be sprinting to bet that. But that's just not the case here. And I think that a lot of that's due to recency bias. And Volk got caught, and that is what it is. But it wasn't like he's just getting his ass whooped. It doesn't matter if Lopez can catch him or not. I think everything in between. Volk fills the space, has some of the best IQ we've ever seen in mixed martial arts. Great game plans every time for the most part. I don't see a way in which Lopez looks great outside of an early bonk. So for that reason, I think a Volk bet makes sense, as nasty as it feels and as heartbreaking as it could be for many people. I think the Volk is the side here, especially at these odds. If you got early numbers on Lopez, more power to you, I guess. But I really don't think that this guy is this level of fighter. I really don't think that he's this level of fighter. He's gotten hot at the right time and gotten some good matchups, but I don't think that he's that guy. So we'll see. We'll see on Saturday. I think that Volk is gonna have a y'all must have forgot moment.
Drop, what do you got?
Yeah, it's a fucking banger, man. I mean, you guys broke it down perfectly. I'm only gonna add a few stuffs. Watching Lopez tapes, a thing that I didn't really remember before taping it is the leg kicks, and I think it could be a problem for Volkanovski here. He hurt Danige with a couple leg kicks, and he dropped Ortega with the leg kicks. With only like 9 leg kicks, their leg were kind of cooked. And Volkanovski, elite fight IQ, elite footwork, and he relied on his movement a lot. So if Lopez come out there early and goes to the leg, it could be an issue. I know Volk can switch stances, but still, it could be an issue. But the same can be said for Volk. I think he has very good leg kicks, and he could use it well here. And I feel like him in the big cage and with his very good footwork could be good enough to avoid the danger early, because I think after 10 to 12 minutes, the danger diminish for Lopez. He doesn't have the same power in round 3, 4, 5, I don't think, than in round 1 and 2. And his BJJ is very dangerous, but I personally don't think he's going to take Volkanovski down. So he's going to have to either hurt Volk or count on Volk to take him down for him to get a submission, which I think Volk could take him down and could win minutes on top, but it's going to be very dangerous. And again, on the feet, who do I favor? I think Volkanovski is one of the best striker in MMA. His fight IQ, his footwork, his tools that he have on the feet is very, very insane. And yeah, it's hard for me to go out there and to, again, not bet one of the best fighter in our generation. I'd pick him against a guy who's have a ton of hype and was very dangerous. But the 5 rounds a big difference for me here. If that fight was 3 rounds, I'm not sure I could get behind Volkanovski. But 5 rounds, he's been there, done that multiple times, and he has shown me that round 3, 4, 5 are always his best rounds in the past. And Lopez, round 3 has been sketchy in the past, and round 4 and 5 with all the weight cut, with all the muscle that he has and all the big weight cut, he's a massive dude. So I think we see a fight where Lopez is going to be dangerous early and is going to go for the kill. And if he doesn't get it in the first 2 rounds, we're going to see Volkanovski taking over. But with that being said, I could also see Lopez having issues to find Volk early on, and then Volk just winning one of the first 2 rounds, and then Lopez being completely fucked if he doesn't have success early. So I just think the levels here is kind of different because skill-wise, Volkanovski is much, much better. He's beating the way better fighters. And, I mean, his losses are Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria, 2 of the best fighters of all time we've ever seen entire MMA, right? So he lost to these guys. These guys would both finish and beat Diego Lopez. So do I hold that against him? I can't really hold that against him too much. It was a bad look that he got knocked out, and I have some worry about his chin. And Lopez hit like a truck, so that's dangerous. But again, I feel like Volk have the style to stay safe early. He stays safe from Ilia Topuria for 7 to 8 minutes. If he does that against Lopez, I think the power is going to be less, and Volk's going to start to take over. So yeah, I just think he has big upside in round 3, 4, 5, and I think that he's just the better fighter all around. Now the age is a concern, the chin is a concern, the back-to-back KO losses are a concern, and it's hard to win the bell, loses, and then trying to reach that goal again and get the belt back. So, but again, is the motivations here? We can't really know. But with what I've seen and with what I've heard, he's in fucking great shape. I think one of the best shape in his career right now. With what I've seen, he said that he want to be a double champ again. And if he not a double champ, but the 2-time champ, if he go out there and win that belt again and be a champ at this age, he's gonna go out there and one of the greatest and maybe the GOAT of this division. So he has something to win here, and he's the type of fighter that I know I can count on to prepare well for a fight where when you have full game plan, elite fight IQ, elite preparation. We've seen it in the Holloway rematch, the Holloway 3rd fight. He beat his ass. He almost finished him, bro. Like round 3, 4, 5, that was done.
I had the ITD plus 333 in that fight. I wanted to puke in my hands.
Damn. The thing I'll say is, like, if Lopez getting tired and not having success like round 3, 4, 5, Volk's gonna beat his ass. So yeah, I think Volkanovski, I'd pick him again. One of the greats of our generation against a guy who was very good, but I think Lopez his route to the title has been quick, and he has a ton of hype right now. So for all those reasons, I could only bet Volkanovski. But there's a lot of different ways to play this fight, depending on what side you like. If you like the Lopez side, I encourage you to bet the under 2.5. It's plus 200. And I think if you win, it's probably under 2.5 rounds. KO1, KO2 makes sense. Volkanovski, round 3, 4, 5 makes sense. Volkanovski moneyline, I think, is the side. And fight doesn't go the distance also makes sense because I could see both guys finishing Lopez early, Volk late. But if it goes all 25 minutes, I'm going to favor the guy who's just better all around and better over 25 minutes. So I think Volk can finish late. I think he can win a decision. And I think that if Lopez wins, he's going to be finishing him under 2.5 rounds. So plus 200 for that if you like that angle. But yeah, it's a fucking good fight. I'm excited for it. And I'll be fucking hyped for Volk if you win this fight, man. It would be like a all-time moment. So this card's a banger. We talked for 2 hours and a half. We gave you guys our best bets, best angles with Liam. So yeah, that's all I got. I'm picking Volkanovski to retain the title and go down as one of the best fighters of all time.
All right. That's the show, guys. That's UFC Miami. I'll be there live in person. I leave Thursday morning. Hit me up on Twitter. You want to grab a drink, do whatever. I'll be down there Thursday till Sunday night. Let's do BTL parlay. Who wants to start?
You're not gonna
I
like
can give
it.
one if you'd like.
Go ahead, bro. You're the guest.
Sure thing. Listen, I kind of like the main event not to go the distance. Which
Liam,
the reason I say that,
looking at that, bro. I was just saying that's my leg.
I love it. But it's for me pretty simple. It's like I think Diego Lopez is one of the most dangerous finishers in the division, period. And then I think Alexander Volkanovski is one of the best pace fighters in the history of 145. So they just both have clear paths to finish as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So
All
what
right.
is the odds
So-
on that?
What we're gonna do moving
Minus
forward,
140 best.
what we're gonna do moving forward for beat line, the BTL parlay, we're not gonna only use bet online. We're gonna use everything we want because we need a win. And
Yeah.
I like that leg from Liam because we've been only using bet online and we can only use the total that they gave us and the money line, right? So sometimes we like something better, we just can't use it. So we're gonna go out there, be more safe, and try to win because we need one. And the first one I'm gonna use personally. I'm gonna get minus 150 on the fight doesn't go the distance for Volkanovski that Liam just mentioned. But
Gotcha.
Peg, you can go next if you have something.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with I didn't have something. Go ahead, Key. You go
Oh,
first.
okay. I got something if you guys want. I'm gonna go Gene Silva -2. On that book that I'm using, I can get -250.
All right, so we'll call. Oh, where's Gene Silva? Yeah, 250 is fine. It's anywhere between 240 and 270.
Okay.
All right, Key. What do you want?
Sumadarji minus 160. That's cool.
Suma Darshi. All right, now it's up for me to ruin the BTL parlay. Let's see.
Like you do always, bro.
Yeah. Which one do I like here? What is?
Do we all like Mikal?
Yeah, actually, that's I was just between that and I was going to look and see what the over was in the Tulio fight, but I know you guys wouldn't like that. Yeah, let's do Mikal minus 190.
All right, so the odds that I can get are a bit worse because I got Sue minus 185 on my book and I got Mikal minus 200 on the book that I can parlay everything that I want. So for me, it's plus 439, but you can probably get plus 475 ish depending on the books.
Okay, sounds good. So again, guys, just one last time. Fight doesn't go the distance for Lopez Volk by Liam. Gene Silva by Drav minus 250. Sumadarji minus 160 for Key. Michael Olajaychuk for Peg minus 190. Anywhere from plus 439 to plus 475. I'm your host, Picks by Pegasus. Again, come see me. I'll be down in Miami. Let's grab drinks, do whatever. I'll be out all weekend. These guys, all they do is complain about going out, but hey, I do it. I'll be there. Liam, thanks for joining us, bro. Liam's got a great Patreon. Links can be below. Anything else you got for people? Anything going on? Any other shows this week, Liam?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have a show at some point with my brother Wiz, so stay tuned for that. I'll have some announcements coming for you on social media at LiamPicksFights everywhere. And the other thing I just want to say, if anybody's watching live right now on my channel, I co-stream this as well, just so more people would see it. Guys, make sure that you go get subscribed to the page. Go drop a like on their stream as well. I watch this show every week. I feel like there's a lot of valuable information provided each and every week. So I hope that you guys got the same value. And if you did, make sure you go show some love and all their social media as well, right on the screen. Just show love and support. I appreciate that from me to you.
All right. Appreciate that, Liam. All right. Key, Drav, what do you guys got? Odd Shopper, Dub Club, with anything new?
Yeah, on my end, I'm gonna have a promo this week, so stay tuned for that. I didn't post it yet, but go on my Twitter, Jervy_. I won 17 unit last week. Crazy week. Went crazy. So yeah, I don't plan on stopping now. So if you guys want to join, I'm gonna have a promo because of that weekend we just had. So stay tuned. Subscribe to my Twitter, Jervy_, and you're gonna see the tweet in probably 2 days from now. So you can join. I have a couple bets for this card, and yeah, I think it's gonna be a great one.
Key, what do you got? Close it out.
Yeah, key 3 picks on everything. TikTok, Twitter. Got the Dub Club in the link in bio. We've had 4 straight winning weeks. We're gonna keep it rolling. I think this is gonna probably be my biggest card of the year. So if there's any time to get in, it's right now. We're locked in. I'll probably drop another free bet of the week too if y'all want that. So lock in with the guys. Make sure y'all show some love to Liam. Great guest, has a great show. Make sure that you hit that like button, subscribe. And we're out.
God just said TikTok. Kids these days.
Says
All right,
the
guys.
guy that was just asking me how to edit a fucking video on iMovie, you old man.
Yo, wait till you see this week's.
The fuck
It's going to
outta
be
here.
good. I got something good coming on iMovie. All right, boys. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you all in Miami. Peace.
See you at the top.